Welcome to the court. This is Acker at Basketball.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Acker at Basketball podcast, Season 3, Episode 22 now, not Episode X, as you might have seen on X. I'm your co-host, Curtis D. Acker.
I'm your co-host, Mark Acker. Hello, everybody, once again.
Yes, welcome to another jam-packed episode. So, for this week, we got a rundown. We'll see boxes right here of what we got. Acorn's Attic is going to start us off. We're going to bring that back this week. Also got the Bible verses, once again, that correlate with what you're talking about on Acorn's Attic. Then we got a week one of ASUN conference play, game-by-game review. We're going to show you the top scorer, spotlight player that we wanted to highlight from each game, and then also you can now find the career highs on X and Instagram only. We're not going to do those here. We might mention a couple of them if they correlate in those first two, the scorers or the spotlight players, but make sure to follow us if you want to see everyone that got a career high in that game, and we might mention a few as, you know, get into our analysis portion of it, which is the final part of those reviews. Then, our Week 2 preview, which we're each going to give you 3 keys to a victory for each team there, and then also our prediction, as we always do, for the winner of each of us, which, by the way, before the preview start, I'll show you our current records for conference play. And we'll do that throughout each week as we go along here. Then, finally, all ASUN name draft. So the players with the 5 or 10 best names in the draft, we're each going to pick 10 picks in that one. So that'll be really fun and exciting to do as well. So, to start us off, why don't you take us away with Acorn's Attic?
Acorn's Attic. So I'm going to switch gears a little bit rather than giving kind of a life lesson message, which I seem to trend to do or something like that. I'm talk a little bit about actually food intake, and this particularly is honey. Local, and for me, it's local honey as opposed to something you might find that's a national brand in the store. Not that any of them are bad, but local honey and how it's related to my life a bit. So just a little background on honey. So it's full of fructose, glucose, naturally occurring sugars. The body easily absorbs these sugars much better than processed sugars. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Your body can absorb them much better and much more efficiently. Contains antioxidants, good for cleaning out the body's toxins that you get from living your life. Antibacterial and anti-inflammatory properties as well, which we know are great benefits. Here's the other one that really relates to me is it helps with allergens, colds. There's mixed evidence out there about how helpful that really is in terms of allergy relief. For me, I've been taking it for about 15 years daily, a little spoonful in my breakfast in the morning. I haven't had a cold in forever. Or if I have a cold symptoms, it go away really quickly, and I attribute it to that. So nice. That's really, so I wanted to share that. One last fact about local honey is there's raw and there's processed honey. If you're looking at raw honey, we're not a doctor, I'm not trying to be, so just be careful with this. But raw cannot be eaten by infants, and if you have some medical conditions as well. So just be very careful with raw honey. I'm not trying to promote either one, but just be careful with raw honey if you want to go that route. Okay. But take local honey, go safe route, do the processed kind. It's great. It's really helped me. So that was it.
Awesome. Good Acorn's Attic. And when you told me about this last night, I was like, well, I know of one Bible verse that talks about milk and honey, but then there were a lot more that related to milk and honey in the Bible verses. But the first one we're going to go over is Exodus 3:8. And I come down to deliver them out of the land of the Egyptians and to bring them up out of that land unto a good land and unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites, the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. So lots of those are some of the sons of Israel. There is who he's talking about, I believe. But in this passage, it's God's promise to Moses to take everyone out of that land of Egypt where they're in slavery. And then we later see in Exodus, God still fulfills that promise, even though they were not faithful throughout the journey there. My point, though, with this, though, is milk and honey, literal nutrition.
Right.
But they also serve as symbolism for God providing abundance in this situation, bringing them to a land of abundance. And another thing I wanted to discuss with this verse here is biblical milk is not talking about the milk that we all drink today, the pasteurized cow's milk. It's actually talking about goat's milk, which is, we were talking about the nutritional value of honey. Same thing with goat's milk. It actually provides more vitamins and minerals to the body than cow's milk does, in the studies that I've seen. So that might be something to keep in mind, and definitely understand that as you're deepening your understanding into the Bible. I know when I was first a younger Christian, well, I don't consider myself Christian, I consider myself walking with God, but that, I always thought of it as, it's cow's milk, but then you learn later on that it's goat's milk. So hopefully that helps someone out. Then another one, this one doesn't necessarily have anything to do with honey specifically, but Corinthians 6:19, very common one. People often use this one when talking about what to put into their bodies. But what? Know ye not that your body is a temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you, which ye have of God, and ye are not your own. So with this one here, as I mentioned, people often contribute this one to just, fill your body with good things. It means a lot more deeper than that, but I won't get into that just because we're talking about the honey today and putting good things in your body. I've actually been doing a bit of study. This was a few years ago. I did a bit of study on frequency. In the studies that I saw, apparently bees vibrate at the same frequency as the earth does itself as well. So it could be one of those reasons why good honey is providing such good medicinal qualities in life here. Yeah. And then that last one, Matthew 3:4. And the same John had his remnant of camel's hair and a leathern girdle about his loins, and his meat was locusts and wild honey. So first off, I imagine the honey was definitely a little bit of a sweetener for those wild locusts that he was eating. I can't imagine he's talking about the physical. But I truly love the symbolism of this verse, because I believe it's a message. Like, I know that there's a verse about how the yoke is easy, but it's really hard to or the yoke is light, I believe is what it says, but it's hard to live a Christian life. We get absorbed into a certain way of life, and then kind of what Christ taught is it kind of reworks that thinking of your normal, what the world tells you to value and prioritize. So there's going to be struggles that come with that, and I think that's what the camel's hair, which is not, it's not soft hair at all. Nope. Leather girdle about your loins, and then obviously eating locusts. But the wild honey is that sweetener, and I think that's why even through all those struggles, there's an extra sweetener that outweighs all those struggles when it comes to following God. Yeah. So I just really like the symbolism in that verse as well, and I think people mostly take that verse literally. So I wanted to bring that light to people as well. Right.
Honey's kind of like the eighth man on the bench. We'll do a basketball related here, right? He's that glue guy that ties it all together and makes everything sweeter when it goes well, right? How's that for
I like
for a
that,
basketball
especially because
tie-in?
honey's so sticky. But so current standings in the ASUN here. We'll give you a look at all those. We won't go over it too much, but as you can see, Austin Peay is currently on the best winning streak, and then North Florida still remains with the longest losing streak here as well. Right. Moving into the week 1 games though, so here's your look at January. We'll go over all of these games individually. You can see each game's final outcome along with the leading scorer from each game on that. Starting off though, it's Stetson, who won 70-67 on the road in the opening game for the ASUN this week. Only game where, at least on opening day, where a team won while on the road. Yep. Stetson's first win of the road of the 25-26 season as well. North Alabama did double up Stetson's 7 offensive rebounds with 14. Got 15-5 in those second chance points. However, the Hatters had 18 points off the bench compared to North Alabama's 8. Yunus Ratovsky was a big reason for that. He
was, that stretch in the second half when they took the lead, right?
Yes.
Indeed. Going on to our point leaders for this game. For the Hatters, it was Jamie Phillips Jr., 29 points, career high for him in that. He also took 19 field goals, a career high, 4 3-pointers made, 3 career highs for him. On the North Alabama side, Dante Bacchus, career high 22, and tied his career highs with 9 field goals, 3 threes.
And then we've got our spotlight players in this one. So it could have gone to Yunus as well, but we gave it to Ethan Copeland. He tied his career high in assists. Also got a career high 5 steals in this game. Head coach Donnie Jones even mentioned after the game that it was good to see him be a playmaker instead of a shot maker. So then as well for the North Alabama side of things, Kanan Jefferson tied career highs of 6 field goals and 3 steals. But so for this one, what are your key takeaways from this one?
Well, I liked how Stetson showed no fear in this game. They really moved the ball well, passing and attacked. I was like not surprised. I mean, everybody can do it, but they really executed well in that sense. They showed obviously a ton of heart being down 13 in the second half, and then as you mentioned, Janus came in 4 buckets, and they had a 22-2 run in the second half.
Right.
For North Alabama, 5 assists is all they generated in this game. Again, we've seen that pattern where they get in this, I'm going to beat my guy one-on-one, and it when you double team that and it doesn't work, you start forcing shots. It didn't go. Only 5 assists for them, so I think that's part of what where they fell down.
Well, yeah, and they went on an 11-0 run before Stetson went on their big run to kind of seal off the game here, although it was really back and forth down the stretch, came down to the final shot. I think we had like 4 games come down to the final shot on opening day.
That's awesome.
But in that game, they were attacking inside on offense with Jefferson and Bacchus, and they were playing really, really physical defense, and then they were able to open up the 3 as well because of that attack that they had on the inside. Big shocker, Bacchus got one after Kevin Nikovicic made that extra pass, which is great out of Nikovicic to see. We've talked about earlier in the season how he kind of gets in a scorer's mindset and doesn't look to pass the ball.
Right.
He did a great job on that there, and that was really when they went, I think, on that run and pushed a little bit further. Once they got away from that again, that's when Stetson was able to come back into it as well.
Right.
Stetson played really well in transition in that point. They opened up their half-court offense because they started off playing in transition. And Coach Jones mentioned in the post-game press conference, switching from to the press in the zone rather than playing man. He thinks that adjustment really helped.
It jumped them up
as well. They held UNA scoreless for 4 minutes and 40 seconds after they did that. Wow. Next up is, why don't you give away our team stats this time?
Right. So we had Lipscomb beating Jacksonville 76-57. Lipscomb shot 10 of 23 from deep. That's kind of in their wheelhouse, I would say. But Jacksonville only was 7 of 24 on their long-range shots, so definitely a big difference maker there. Lipscomb outstole the Dolphins 12-3. Major difference there. Led to a 15-4 turnover differential, right? Is that points off the paint or points off turnovers, right? 15-4.
No, that was just the turnover differential.
Oh, turnover differential. Okay, gotcha. Oh, steals. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yes.
My apologies.
Leading scorers in this one were for Jacksonville was Chris Arias. He also got his first block of the 25-26 season. All 13 of his points were in the first half. Then you've got Grant Assman, who also ended with 3 steals, tying a career high, and a block. Also a perfect 6 of 6 from the line, which is a new bar setter for the Bison's breakout 5 in his 5th year here.
Nice. Our spotlight players for Jacksonville, Donsky Rivers, first career double-double, 10 and 10. And those 2 assists are his career high as well. And then on the Lipscomb side, Titus Sargunis, player of the game on the broadcast they announced him as. He did most of his scoring in the first half, had a huge steal to help kind of get the game going back in Lipscomb's way in the second half. And he was one of his 3 on the night which matched a new career high.
Yeah, and the 3 career high steals for him. That's awesome. For this one, I think when Jacksonville worked back into the game, Jason Thirdkill Jr. was the tone setter defensively. He got, I think, an uncredited block, or it was just a really good contest. Hit a 3, drew a flagrant 1. Then he got subbed out, though. So I wasn't sure if maybe that was a health reason that he got subbed out because of that, but I would have liked to see Thirdkill stay in the game. They did seem to make Lipscomb play too fast, though. Not speed of game, because speed of game, but just like mentally, they weren't able to process what Jacksonville was doing. And I think that was Jacksonville's rotation and off-ball movement. It was great during that point. So I really think that was what kind of set them ahead. Kevin Carroll took a very, very, very smart timeout as well to kind of settle things back down for Lipscomb in this one. With this, though, new set of players that came out. I'm not going to mention them all, but because Jacksonville knows who it was, but much less off-ball rotation on the new set of players. Like, there was still off-ball rotation,
Yep.
but it wasn't as crisp. There wasn't as much off-ball screening. It was just kind of everyone's moving around rather than creating chances for everyone else off-ball.
Yeah, and there was 5 after that timeout. It was 5 turnovers and a missed 3-pointer with the next 6 possessions for Jacksonville.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say Lipscomb's response out of that was once Jacksonville went on that 9-2 run to bring it within 6 points, they got half of their 12 steals in the last 8 minutes of the game. And also, the two guys I've had on my ASUN first team, Grant Assman, 4 points, 2 defensive rebounds, 3 assists, a block, and a steal. Teo, 7 points, 1 assist, a defensive board, and a steal as well. So it's good to see those guys, your leaders, stepping up in those final minutes when you really need them.
Yep. They're like in sync. They're like brothers kind of. They really process the game similarly the way I watch them play. Or it certainly seems like it. Yeah. Yeah, and Lipscomb turned those 15 turnovers into 23 points in this game. So that was a big difference maker as well.
Right. Moving into FGCU at Central Arkansas. So there were 13 lead changes in this one. You can see it was a 2-point victory. FGCU won 25-14 in bench points. Central Arkansas, however, did score 40 points in the paint compared to FGCU's 26.
Right. Point leaders. I'm going to start with Ty Robinson. 27 points, a career high of 7 3-pointers made. Also tied his career high of 4 offensive rebounds. Got a steal in this game. And J.R. Konechny for Florida Gulf Coast. Perfect 6 for 6 from the line. Nice impact there as well that he makes other than his normal shooting stuff.
Right. Spotlight players were Amir Barno. This was his second career double-double in this one. And then Javion Guy King tied a career high for points. 5 field goals as well, and also all 5 of those were from 2, another tying of career high.
Yep.
In this one here, this was a game of runs. Obviously, FGCU started off on that 10-0 run, and it looked like they were going to be going ahead for a long time. UCA really fought their way back into it in the end there. I did find it interesting that head coach Pat Chambers said before the game that he thought his team was taking too many threes. Obviously, that didn't happen. They continued to hoist him up from 3 in this game.
Yeah.
But I have a theory as to why. So in the Coconut Hoops, they got over 30 free throw attempts in each of those games, and they did only hit 27% of their threes the last 3 games as well. But I don't think that's why he's saying that. What I think he's saying that is that they got outchanced and outscored in every game against a D1 opponent since then from the free throw line. And obviously FGCU kind of fell off after the Coconut Hoops, or at least in a lot of people's minds they did.
Yep.
Twice over 30 attempts in those 3 next games. And then the other one was 27 attempts. So right, once again, at that 30-point number. And in this one, FGCU was only got 12 chances at the line, hit 11 of them.
Right.
Central Arkansas, 16 out of 20 at the line. So those extra 5 points...
Oh, yeah.
That could have been the difference in this game.
It was one of them, right.
What did you see, though?
Yeah, well, the Bears scored 40 points in the paint, which is impressive. Again, because think about Gulf Coast's inside game generally, but 40 is a good number in this contest to score. I love the pace of Florida Gulf Coast. Ramir Barno played all 40 minutes of this game. Yeah. JR played 34. I mean, it's hard not to talk about those two all the time as far as their offensive.
Right, Darren Williams chipped in really well, especially in that first, shooting from beyond as well.
Exactly, made 5 threes.
Yeah, new career high for him.
Yep, exactly. Here's with Florida Gulf Coast. JR got in foul trouble a little bit early. To me, there was times he's always in the right position. He's a very aggressive player. But I'm sure it was intentional. He was laying off of. He was put in a spot where he had to defend underneath the basket. Cam Hunter had him under the bucket a few times, and he kind of let Cameron score
because he was in foul trouble.
Because he was in foul trouble.
Well, credit Javion Guy King for that because he was doing work on the drawing foul front.
Right, smart, but at the same time, as a team, everybody has to recognize that and rotate out of there. So Jared's not put in that position. Great job by UCA of getting Cam Hunter, as always, into a low post position, and he's just dominant down there when he gets the ball down low. Fun to watch him as well.
Yeah. Another thing as well, before we move on, I want to talk about the Bears 2-3 zone, or 3-2, excuse me, continues to apply pressure and get turnovers at the good time in the second half for turnovers. 7-3 in favor of the Bears for that one. The amount of turnovers within one possession, 3 of them for FGCU, and 5 for FGCU within 2 possessions is.
Interesting.
Well, yeah, what they get.
Okay.
So seriously, that Bears defense is able to force turnovers at clutch times when they really need it.
Right. Well, I think Florida Gulf Coast didn't recognize matchups perfectly when the Bears were in the zone there. They kind of forced shots rather than really working to get the better shot. They kind of, this is decent. I'll take this shot, but there may be one better, or maybe I can dribble drive around somebody and give a kick.
Nice.
So, yep.
How about this next game?
All right, next up, Queens, EKU and Queens played phenomenal. That was our feature game. We were at this ball game. What a contest, 2-point win. Queens won the rebound battle, 37-29, as you can see there, and outscored EKU 50-28 in the paint. When you think about EKU inside game, it's a big feature right there. EKU made 14 3-pointers, while Queens only had 5. So kind of a good thing from EKU. And then the game featured only 11 turnovers altogether. It was crazy how well both teams managed the ball.
Then our point leaders in this one. So it was the freshman leading the way in this one, MJ Williams. Tied a career-high 6 field goal makes and 2 two-point makes. Does get a majority of his scoring done from the outside. However, he did only have 2 points in that second half. Then Jordan Wofford got a career-high 17 points. Tied career highs with 6 field goal makes and 6 twos as well. I left him off my all freshman. He was the last man off the freshman team. I know that that his father said that him and Jordan watch these episodes sometimes, so
right.
Hopefully, I'm sure that didn't inspire this, but I hope that little fire under him a little bit certainly showed in the first 2 games. More on the second one later. How about our spotlight
players for Eastern Kentucky? Monty Myrick, as often is, he tied his season high with 16 points. This is the 3rd time he's done that. On the Queens side, Avante Parker, 6 of 7 from the floor. He missed his last shot. Last free goal taken. It would have been his 6th time this season. He would have been perfect from the floor if he had made that last one or didn't take it, whatever it might be. Also had a season high 8 rebounds and 7 defensive rebounds in this contest.
Yeah, what do you think of this one?
What an intense game, right from the get-go. We saw Turner Buttrey and Chris Ashby kind of just banging each other, trying to cut through the lane, a simple thing like that. I loved EKU's intensity throughout. Juan Cranford had 5 assists, 2 steals. He was way more active at trying to get inside and creating some more havoc, rather than he's a great dynamic offensive player, but he did a lot there in that regard. I think they were a little over-aggressive defending, got into foul trouble.
Right.
EKU did, especially in the first half there. Got him in trouble. Queens did a great job of getting it inside, like they did against Auburn the game before, to create that scenario as well in the first half and stretch out. And then maybe it was because of the foul trouble, but Myrick did not get many touches offensively in that first half. And then he started getting some touches, created a bucket, gave one underneath the Evans ball for a layup, and then they went on that 14-2 run at the end of the second half. Or the end of the first half,
I don't know if you noticed as well, Evans was held out of the first half for a large majority of it. It looks like he was dealing with some sort of bug that he had going on. I don't know where it was.
Okay.
But yeah, he ended up getting held out. He was getting worked on by the trainer. He was on the bike.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah, so
Gotcha.
that might have affected their inside scoring in that one. But
Right.
Avante Parker getting it going early from inside in both halves there, that was huge tone setter for Queens.
Absolutely.
And then obviously, they talked about it in the post-game interview. We'll leave a badge up top for that if you want to go watch that. But all of them talked, it was Grant Leonard was very proud of the defensive effort by pretty much everyone.
Yeah.
Including Yoav, who he said was the best defender against Myrick.
He did. Yep.
At the end there. But the rebounding battle, everyone was committed to the rebounding battle, and that was a huge key in this one, especially with EKU being one of the top rebounding teams coming into this game in the ASUN.
All 10 players that played for the Royals got a rebound, at least one rebound. It tells you about the team effort, exactly to your point. Yeah.
Moving into West Georgia, hosting Bellarmine. Obviously, an 87-85 win. As you can see there, West Georgia took 22 more shots. Both had 29 makes in this one, though. West Georgia had a season-high 39 three-point attempts. Unusual 23-34 night from the stripe from the Knights as well. The Wolves did win in second chance points, 14-4. on the strength of 18 offensive rebounds, and West Georgia's 15-point lead at the 52 to 37 at halftime was dwindled by Bellarmine late in that game.
Right, yeah, they kind of chip back into it, which we'll get more into. Yeah, point leaders. No surprise here, Jack and Shelton.
Yeah, were you surprised to see these guys? No.
Jack he made 10 free throws, but he took 15, so he only 10 out of 15, 66% from the line. A little unusual stat there for him. And Shelton Williams Dryden, 9 offensive rebounds, set a career high in that category.
Yeah, he was fantastic in that game. Then we've got our spotlight players, Kenyon Gooden and Josh Smith. So Gooden was a huge part of Bellarmine's comeback late into this game, was able to establish an outside threat for the Knights when they really needed it. Career best 5 2-pointers as well along with that. And then, Josh Smith hit the game-winning buzzer beater. That was fantastic. Took 19 shots. One of his career highs he set in their overtime win against Troy earlier in this year. For this one, though, I know Zach Tefelsky said that Brian Waddell was possibly the best player for right. Bellarmine, and I think he was their ESPN highlight player in the box score. But I thought Gooden really stepped it. Like, when he got involved offensively, that's when Bellarmine was able to chip back into this game. Yep. Because both Jack and Brian both had great first and second halves. Kenyon really came alive in that second half there, which is why I ended up giving him the spotlight there. But yeah, I love the wit of Jack Karazinski getting Chime in foul trouble early into that second half there as well. He did. That was really smart because obviously, he's one of the leading shot blockers, but then he got to deal with another really another leading shot blocker in Jabbar Daniel as well. Right. But yeah, I thought Bellarmine did a really good job fighting back into this game, but West Georgia did a really good job of holding off that late game onslaught in order to get the victory in this one.
Yeah, and a testament to Bellarmine's style of play and the commitment they have to it. Despite being down pretty big, they still didn't abandon their inside play. They still banked it inside, like talked about with Jack there. 50 points in the paint for the game, even though they're down back. Normally, if a team gets down behind you, you end up shooting threes to work your way back into it. They didn't do that. They didn't abandon their game plan and who they are as a team to work themselves back in. The free throws were the big thing, right? They missed 11 free throws and lost by 2.
Yeah, and also West Georgia was incredibly efficient from free throw land as well. They were like 19 to 22 or something like that. It was something really, really good.
They missed 2, I believe. Yeah, we can't not talk about Brady Hardaway in this game. 18 points, 6 3-pointers, right?
Yeah, set a new career high for himself as well in that one as well. Yep. With those 6 threes. Then our final game from the opening night here. Why don't you give us it away?
Austin Peay taking down North Florida at home. Austin Peay was great on the boards, won by 13, that differential there. 12 steals and 15 turnovers from North Florida. 12 steals by Peay. Led to a 30-10 fast break point difference there. 20-point difference just on runouts from turnovers, basically, right? So, and points in the paint, once we've talked about with North Florida, was once again a key here. 52-26 in favor of Austin Peay on the inside part of the game.
Right. Point leaders in this one. So Kent Jackson and Colin Parker led for each respective team. Jackson, 7 field goals, tied his career high, season high 17 shot attempts for him as well. And then Parker, he ended up getting ASUN Newcomer of the Week. Career bests, 11 buckets, 9 twos, also tied a career high 6 assists and 3 steals. He's just dynamic.
Yes, he is.
Then our spotlight players, give them away.
Dalton Gaiman for North Florida. I think we're going to hear this a bunch more this year. Set career highs. 18 points is his career high for points. 9 free throws made. He's shooting 84% from the line already at this point. Fantastic. And the 8 rebounds was also a career high. And then on the Austin Peay side, boy, what a game Ja'Cory Robertson had. Career best, 18 points, 9 field goals, 9 two-pointers, 3 blocks, and 2 offensive rebounds. That was actually a tie, the offensive rebounds, but still all over the court. All aspects of the game, he contributed heavily into this one for sure.
Right, and UNF was into this one for a very large majority, especially in that first there. Yeah. Head coach Corey Gibson said at halftime, though, Govs don't quit, and they certainly did not in this one.
They couldn't afford to.
Right, exactly. No, this North Florida team is not the same North Florida team that they were at the start of the year. Right. Really kind of in that Charleston Southern game, I think, is really where they started to find their identity.
Correct, yep.
And, yeah, so I think this UNF team is not a team to underestimate. Like they're kind of like an EKU where they were down on their luck and probably looked a little discombobulated as far as who they were.
Yep.
And then the past 2 games, they've really found their identity, and they're going to, I bet, a lot more competitive. I still don't know if they'll be a top team in the conference at all.
Right.
I don't expect that. I expect them to still kind of be in that bottom third, but they're definitely a lot stronger than a lot of people are expecting them to be coming into ASUN play here.
And this game they played. Cam Oriole had a bit of an off night. He got in foul trouble. He had a bunch of turnovers, and they still held it together for a good chunk of the game. So it was a good testament. Do you see them moving better off ball? You see them passing the ball with more authority and more confidence with each other, playing more as a cohesive unit offensively.
Right.
Really, like to that point, I think Dalton Gaiman's. They're getting Gaiman in a better spot for him offensively. He's stepping out more, which gives him a chance to dribble, drive, and just see the court a little bit better rather than being forced to be that inside presence. And
adjusting to that 6-man role coming off the bench it has been a real big benefit for him.
Exactly.
And I think it's been a benefit for the team as well because you're able to get different lineups out there.
Yeah.
And maybe get a little bit more size out there at certain points when you really need it.
Yep.
One thing I do want to mention about injuries in this game, so Rashad Marshall and Devin Hines both went down on the same exact play. Neither returned in this one as well.
Right.
So their status is a little bit more later in the show.
I got to mention too, Colin Parker. You mentioned him before. I called him a basketball magnet. The ball just like attracts to him. He's in the right spot all the time.
What was your nickname for him?
I forgot what I called him. Oh, Elmer for being a glue guy, for being the glue. Like the ball just sticks to him.
Not Elmer Fudd. Right?
Not Elmer Fudd.
No.
Elmer's glue.
Elmer's glue.
I went away with that one, but yeah, the ball just goes to the right spot. He gets steals. He gets his hands up in the right spot. He finds offensive rebounds or defensive rebounds by being a smart player.
Right.
It's very, very noticeable. Very, very, very good game. Well deserved.
Then for our January 3rd game. So once again, you can see all of those games there, all of the finals, and everyone who led in scoring for the Victor team.
That's right.
Stetson opened up again on this day. 93-73 loss, though, this time on the road against Central Arkansas. UCA turned 15 turnovers into 19 points. Stetson only made 9 of 11 of its Bears turnover. 9 points out of the 11 turnovers that the Bears had. Central Arkansas also took 10 more shots than Stetson, made 7 more in this one.
That's always a big difference. Yep, our point leaders for the game, Jamie Phillips Jr., he had it at the top of the points. He had a clutch block starting for Stetson going to get back in the run in the second half. We think about him and normally offense, but a huge block there. Tied career high for him with the block, right? And then fifth one in his career. On the Central Arkansas side, Donovan Hunter, right? Or is that Cam Hunter? So
Donovan plays for Bellarmine.
Wrong team. Sorry about that. Cam Hunter, season best 5 assists in this contest with his 21 points and 4 rebounds.
And then our spotlight players. So once again, Ethan Copeland for the side of Stetson. He had an 11-point second half, though this was Stetson when Stetson was beyond comeback potential, really also added 1 steal in this game. Ty Robinson also added a steal, and he played only 25 minutes to get those 20 points that he got in this game. And wow, once again, the Bears' ability to generate turnovers on the defensive end is a big reason why they got ahead. And I really like that Stetson ran their full court press after UCA got up early in the first there. I felt like that helped slow the game down a lot, and that was another reason why Stetson was able to kind of jolt them out of UCA, out of their play style and their play flow. I mean, Truman Byrne was having a great first half as well. But I really like the adjustments that Stetson makes on the coaching end of things.
That's awesome.
They did go back to man early in the second though, and immediately that's when Jamie Phillips got that block. Led to some good transition buckets as well.
Nice.
I like when Stetson's playing fast. However, defensively, they weren't able to slow the Bears down in that scenario. So I would like to see them maybe play a little bit more zone. And then also, what the real killer for this one in Stetson's side, credit to the Bears for playing great defense, also winning a coach's challenge, but the 13-0 run was caused by way too many sloppy turnovers, way too many mental lapses causing offensive fouls. So
Gotcha.
I think they just need to lock in more offensively in this one.
Yeah, I want to point out Truman Byrne. You mentioned him briefly there. Career high 11 points. He made great minutes, 11 points, and tied his 4 assists, 4 field goals, and 3 threes. Those 3 stats were tied career high, and they had the 11 career high points. So fantastic game. Cam and Ty obviously are their feature offensive players, but to get secondary scoring from somebody like Truman Byrne, they'll make the Bears really tough to beat.
Yeah.
When they have that going on top of it.
Yeah.
He said he's like a Grant Asman light, Truman Byrne, maybe.
Sure, yeah. I think
he's got similar game
that's
style.
That's a good development path for him, for sure.
Very similar game style.
Just maybe hopefully a little bit quicker than Grant was able to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Next game we have Eastern Kentucky went to Carrollton. West Georgia took a 12-point loss there. EKU took 5 more shots than West Georgia in this contest, including 36-13 from 3. Kind of an odd statistical game for the way the game ended up here, right? And the Colonels led by 4 at halftime, 37-33. West Georgia, though, took over in the second half, shot 71%, leading to their 55 second half points in the victory.
Yes. Point leaders in this one, Shelton Williams Dryden had a bunch of them. He ended up getting the Lou Olson National Player of the Week honors because of his performance last game, and in this game also ASUN Player of the Week. But Juan Cranford also added 3 steals on top of his performance. By the way, for Williams Dryden, this is his 11th career double-double, his 5th time doing it back-to-back, and now he has a chance to go on a three-peat for the 2nd time. He also did that once earlier in this season, a three-peat of double-double performances.
Dominating. Spotlight players for Eastern Kentucky. Jalen Cooper, I really like how he's coming on. Now his 2nd game back after being out for a while with a hand injury. A career high of 2 for 2-point makes and of 4, and also with offensive rebounds 4. And I think you're going to see more playing time out of him here. I think he had 25 minutes in this game here. And he's a different.
He was a starter at the beginning of the year.
Yep, exactly.
They are playing with 2 different style now, though, with having Evans and Myrick in there.
Right. On the West Georgia side, Colton Griffin, as you can see here, with his 16 points, also had 3 steals and a block in this contest. So
yeah, he was huge for them. I mean, Malcolm Noel stepped up offensively when they needed it. So did Colton Griffin as well. Yeah. But in that, you mentioned the first half lead for EKU. They actually went on a 12-13 run during that time when they were gaining that lead, and the reason they were doing it is because they were getting way on the offensive glass. They were dominating West Georgia.
Okay.
So that was the reason why they were really able to get back into this one. Then in the second, it was an offensive shootout in the second for most of the game. I would say, though, that West Georgia, in those kind of final 5 minutes, they get a little bit sloppy on the defensive glass. So I think that's something that they maybe need to focus on heading into this upcoming week here.
Especially on the road. Yeah. It's big.
Yeah, definitely. Next game, FGCU at North Alabama. Man, North Alabama going 0-2 at home this week. I don't think anyone saw that coming. But an unusual stat in this 17-point loss, UNA took 27 free throws compared to FGCU's 9, and also made 11 more, but only 10 turnovers and 6 equal steals as well. So it really doesn't make sense statistically why FGCU won this game.
Right.
Other than the fact that they made 12 more buckets than the Lions did. Season low 16 made shots for North Alabama. Big note in this one, Cornelius Williams was out the entire game with an illness.
Yep, that's right. Big loss, obviously, there, as we know. Point leaders, Ramir Barno with his 14. He didn't play the whole game this time. I think he only played 37 or 34 minutes, something like that. But he did make 7 of his 14 shots from the floor, which is 50%. Second time this year he's had 7 buckets in a game. On the North Alabama side, Kanan Jefferson led the way with his 14 points. Also had 6 steals and unfortunately fouled out, or he might have had even more.
Right. And then our spotlight players, Jordan Ellaby, second leading scorer for FGCU, also was ESPN's player of the game for his offensive and defensive efforts in this one. Then Dante Bacchus also played some good, reliable minutes as the leading scorer when Kanan Jefferson went out, because Kanan led the game, but Dante was that second leading scorer, was the guy that needed to step up for them. No fouls for him in 37 minutes of play as well. That's been a big issue just in general.
Yeah.
For North Alabama, is getting into a little bit of foul trouble with their bigs. Now having none from Bacchus. Really
as active as a player as he is, to see that was impressive. For sure.
Yeah, this is the second game in a row, though, where around the 8-minute mark, UNA loses their scoring touch.
Yep.
So that's something that they need to work on heading into the upcoming week here.
Exactly. Well, what happened early in this game was the Eagles really were pounding the rebounds, winning the rebound battle. They were +5, 10 minutes into the game, and they were up 16-6, for example. UNA had no offensive rebounds in the first half. They had 6 in the second half. They started clawing back into it. They were down by 5, fairly deep into the game.
How many assists did they have in this game?
5. Again. 5. It's that play style. Here's the thing with them, and we saw it more in this game. We saw Darkon King played, obviously, largely.
Well, he's been playing great lately.
He's been playing very well, but with Neal out, he needs to play more just from a size perspective. But then we also saw Kadir Bodie put in some big minutes this game, and I saw a different energy out of their offense with those two in the game. In fact, when on that run they were coming back, Bodie was doing a good job of getting in, dribble driving in, and kicking out. He hit King in the corner for a 3. I think they got him back to 5 at one point, right before the 8-minute point. So a different energy there. I think they need to. They need to change their dynamic offensively. They're too static and too predictable for what they're doing offensively. And so maybe we're starting to see that change here with this. You get Neal back into this lineup, that'll add a huge element to this to that lineup there for sure.
Right. Then our next game here, Queens hosting Bellarmine, won 98-76 in this one. Queens took 54 of 67 of their shots from the 3-point line. I mean, there was the Queens released a clip. He was like, "Hey, if teams are gonna let us take threes, we're gonna shoot threes." I'm paraphrasing there. I'm not saying quote for quote what he said, but that was his message. Bellarmine only 3 offensive rebounds in this one as well, which is not a season low for him either. Queens took 19 more shots than Bellarmine did, 13-3 offensive rebound difference as well. Season high 27 assists for the Royals in this one as well.
Yep. Point leaders with Jack Karazinski. We may have heard of him. 24 points, 5 of 5 from deep. He was a quiet 24 points today. Like, he did it really well, but watching the game, I was like, oh, he's not getting the ball much. Oh, he has 12 at halftime. Oh, he has 24 for the game. He just is a pure scorer. Just fantastic player. On the Queens side, we may have heard of him this week. Chris Ashby, 34 points, making 11 three-pointers. That's a school record. It didn't matter where Bellarmine had their 3-2 zone out at the arc. He was shooting them for 2 steps farther back. He hit them all over the floor. It didn't matter where he was shooting from.
Yes.
Fantastic game there.
And then our spotlight players, Brian Waddell gets it in this one, 7 of 11 from field goal range. He's also below, by the way, his season average of 64%, just barely a little bit. And then, speak about quiet games, Carson Schwieger tied his career high with 17 points, 6 baskets, and 5 3-pointers on the way to the Queens Royals victory.
Yep. Loved on the Queens end here. I loved Yoav Berman's defense. You talked about him in the EKU game. Waddell could not get through him. He chested him up and just totally denied Waddell still had a good numbers game, but he could have had more if were it not for Berman. And the whole team.
You're talking about especially early
early in the game. Yeah, I think Queens as a whole played great defense here. I don't know if it's the speed of Bellarmine's or the style of play, whatever it is. They really played sound fundamental defense. However, they still had 23 fouls in the game. but they really the defense drove their offense in this game.
Well, and I've been really impressed with Yoav's playmaking ability as well lately.
Yes.
He's reading the plays a lot sharper. He didn't have any turnovers in this game, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I'm really impressed with how he's stepped up as a playmaker. Obviously, that was one of the big things that we were concerned with Queens early on in the season, is if they could find that main playmaker. Then Jordan Watford seemed to step up and do it.
Right.
Got pulled out of the starting five because of his defensive efforts, and then he even said himself in the post-game interview against EKU that he's going to start putting in that more defensive effort because he doesn't want to be known as that type of player that doesn't play defense at all.
Exactly.
And Queens has done it. Everyone's been stepping up defensively.
Yep. You mentioned Yoav, his playmaking. He was getting in the paint. Ashby was a huge beneficiary, as he should be in this scenario. He was getting in the paint and kicking it out. Like, that was their play. Right. It worked really, really well. And
Nazman quietly had 8 point, 10 rebound, 8 assist game as well.
Almost had a triple-double. You can't ever understate what Naz brings to the Queens club for sure.
Right.
All right, next game we have North Florida Lipscomb. It was a good, tight contest. Lipscomb ended up pulling it out on the strength of fast break points, largely 21-8. They led in that category, and free throws, 22 free throws versus only 4 free throws for the Ospreys. 46 rebounds for North Florida. That's a season high, I believe. Yeah, season high, including 33 on the defensive end. So they really, again, another element of what we're seeing from the Ospreys of what they're doing better at this point. Only 82 three-pointers taken in this game. Holy moly.
Neither team was shooting very well overall.
No, they weren't, but they kept shooting. They were I think they were even in terms of their shooting percentage, but yeah, a lot of three-pointers. How about our top scorers?
Yeah, our top scorers, point leaders in this one. Pair of 19 points for these guys. Kent Jackson also tied a career high with those 6 rebounds that he got. 19-point average over the past 3 games, so he's hit right at his average this one. Tied his season high 7 buckets and 5 threes in this one. And then Titas Sargunis tied a season high 7 baskets. Also 14 points is what he had at halftime. A big reason why Lipscomb was able to stay in it during that early UNF onslaught.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. Our spotlight players, Cam Oriole, he had 19 points, made 3 3-pointers down the stretch, 3 of 5 in the final 4 minutes. In fact, the second one got him down to a 5-point game. It got tight again. And then Lipscomb was able to pull it out largely because of their spotlight player, Grant Aspen, career best 15 rebounds, 6 offensive, and 9 on the defensive end. 9 was tied his career high. The 6 offensive was a career high as well.
Right. I wasn't able to watch this one. I was listening to it, but I didn't really retain anything because I was editing all these graphics. What did you see in this one?
Lipscomb won because they just had more bullets in the gun. They had more options to go to. They were not shooting it great in this one. North Florida did a fantastic job of mixing things up on the defensive end. I think to throw Lipscomb off a bit as well. But I think they really kind of went back to their bread and butter. Lipscomb did at the end. They went back to Teo and Grant largely. They had great contributions from Cole Middleton, had a really nice game. Okpara had a few rebounds. Let's say they had enough extra players to jump in there and throw in, and it kind of wore North Florida down in the last few minutes again, unfortunately. But really, again, we're seeing some great progress on the UNF game side of things. The 3-pointers were fantastic. Kent, again, he's logos. I think actually Jonathan said that he made one from the Atlantic Ocean, I think is what he called it. That was a great call.
That is a good call there. Then for our final game of the final day
of week 1.
Of ASUN basketball for week 1. Here are the team stats for Jacksonville at Austin Peay. This was our feature game of Saturday. Steals plus opponent turnovers. Austin Peay 12 steals, 17 Jacksonville turnovers led to 24 fast break points. And then Jacksonville, or points off turnovers, And then Jacksonville 6 steals, 8 Austin Peay turnovers led to 14 points off turnovers. Yet Peay took only 9 more shots and both made 24 total in this game. Jacksonville only 11 of 20 from free throw range, which is 55% for those of you who can't do quick math like that. Austin Peay 17 of 22 for a 77% from the stripe.
Another game where free throws
made the difference, or could have been the difference.
What a tight ball game this was. Our point leaders, Jalen Jones for Jacksonville tied a career best 4 steals in the contest in addition to the points. And his 15 shots were a season high. He definitely commanded the ball in this game. Speaking of which, on the Peay side, this guy, Zyree Collins, he tends to do that as well. He set career highs with 9 buckets, 8 2-pointers, and his first clean game at the stripe. He has 4 for 4 from the line. We know he likes to get there. Good to see him deliver on all of them that went in there.
And then our spotlight players. This could have gone to a few different guys for Jacksonville here. 4 different guys really had solid games in this one. But Jason Third Kill Jr. gets it with his second career double-double. Had a career high 10 defensive rebounds and tied a career high 3 blocks. Got it going really early in that game, too, with a couple of blocks in this one. Then Rashad Marshall returned for this one, which, by the way, we never mentioned Devin Hines was out of the UNF game.
Correct.
Did not return in that one. But Rashad Marshall made a return. Said he couldn't get up the other night, but he got up today. Career best 6 free throws. Also played 30 minutes after that scary knee injury. Yeah. For this one, overall, you just saw the depth of, like, Colin Parker was leading the Governors in points in the first half. Then Zyree comes out, takes the charge in the second. The amount of depth that this team has, I thought Anton Brookshire played a really clutch role off the bench as well. Came in, provided a really good just energy touch, both on the offensive end and on the defensive end as well. Yeah, I thought he was really solid off of the bench in this game as well. I was genuinely surprised with how well Jacksonville competed in this game. I mean, I mentioned to you going into the game, I was like, this one could turn into a blowout. It wasn't that at all.
Nope.
I'm very sorry, Dolphins, that I underestimated you guys. Very physical team, very strong team. Yeah. Really impressed with the way that they played in this one. Although Chris Arias did not have a single, only took 1 shot.
He started, but he didn't have. He was definitely
he just
a non-factor.
had an off night in this one.
Yep, for
or
sure.
Or maybe something was going on with his physical,
right?
That we don't know about.
Right. Exactly. Well, Coach Gibson even mentioned the fact that Jacksonville started Arias, threw him off for a little kind of at the beginning of the game, like, oh, they've got a different game plan.
Right, but they didn't take advantage of it at all.
Nope.
Yeah, so it was just a different game plan.
We did see a nice shooting effort from quietly from Evan Sturck. He made 4 threes.
Yeah, 3 of them in the first.
Yeah, exactly.
And also he had 8 assists in this game as well.
8, yeah.
Yeah, so it was really
often does. He's just sneaky. Like every time Austin Peay was, to your point, starting to pull away a little bit, you'd see a bucket from Sturck, for example,
or Jones
driving and getting fouled. They really held it together.
Donsky had 14 in this one, I think, as well. He was very powerful. Got a couple nice dunks.
They had a good inside-out game. It was working as well. Third Kill and Donsky both were physical specimens inside. They really showed it in this one, for sure. Yeah. The other thing, Jacksonville had 17 turnovers. We know Austin Peay creates a lot of steals, but the 17 turnovers, I think, hurt them as well.
Right. Well, let's now that we are done with this week's games, let's pop up the quick graphic. This is where our current records sit at right now as far as our predictions go. I currently sit at 10-2, and you currently sit at 9-3. Don't worry, you can rub it in my face next week. So we're gonna take a quick 30-minute break for all of you. If you want to continue watching, you don't need that break, then just tap the screen 3 times once I'm done talking here. But if you need a break, go grab a snack, grab some water, and then come on back. Welcome on back. Thank you for rejoining us after that quick break. 30-second break, not 30-minute break, excuse me on that one. For this week's games on January 8th. All the games are at 7 o'clock, as you can see here. You can also see where each one is located, along with each team's record entering into this week. For this first game, we got West Georgia at North Florida. As you can see, West Georgia is 2-4 on the road, so majority of their losses coming away from Carrollton. North Florida, both of their wins at home. My West Georgia keys, my first one, attack inside. UNF's been better at defending the interior lately, but they're still allowing opponents to get to the line 20 or more times in each of the last 5 games. So you got the size and strength to do the same.
Right. Yeah, and my first key is use the athleticism matchup inside. Just be attacking off the dribble or drive. That's what West Georgia's entity. That's what their identity is. Excuse me, is attacking inside. And I think just keep doing that in this scenario.
Nice. My second one for West Georgia, offensive glass. They're 7-1 in games where they get more than 10 offensive boards. 1-5 in games without. So very important stat for them.
Absolutely. Stay out of foul trouble for West Georgia. They've had 22 fouls against Bellarmine. Been in foul trouble twice. Their bigs especially. So stay out of foul trouble. Keep them in their element when they're on the floor. They're much more dynamic and much more intimidating.
Okay. Mine's feed Brady Hardaway is my last one. So UNF averages the most 3-point makes of any team in the ASUN at 11.5. Brady's 8 of 15 for 53% from downtown the past 2 games. Hit both of his 3-pointer attempts against EKU. He's going to be big in this one.
Yep, for sure. I have guarding the arc for West Georgia. They actually give up a lot of points outside, and we know propensity of North Florida to do so. We might see a Queens-like 3-point attempt count for the Ospreys in this one, but they really need to defend the arc well to limit the Ospreys.
Okay. My UNF keys.
Yes.
First one, double up Shelton. So while they've been better at that defensive identity lately, Shelton thrives in that 8-foot 10 range. So I think you got to double them up, especially with being a national award winner this week.
Absolutely right. My number one key for North Florida is rebounding. They actually did a good job against Lipscomb in the rebounding department early, gave them the lead. They ended up -2, but gave up 18 offensive rebounds. They just got to continue pounding at that effort there. We know how good West Georgia is at hitting the glass.
Yep. My second key for North Florida is gun it from deep. So the more 3-pointers that West Georgia takes, their percentage drops. 38.5% when shooting less than 23-point attempts. 35% just over when shooting 20 to 24 attempts, and then 34.7% when shooting 25 or more. That's their averages when they shoot those.
That's
so yeah, if you can force the Wolves to try to keep up from deep in this game, make it a shootout, you might end up winning this game.
That's a great nugget there. I like that one a lot.
Nice
research. My number 2, Birds of Trey show the way. They lead the Ospreys lead the ASUN in 3-point makes and pressure them. The Wolves to extend their defense out, find some gaps inside of that as well. We've seen North Florida really start moving the ball well and moving themselves well off balls, so that hopefully they can set themselves up well that way.
Nice. My third key for UNF is advantage of lapses. So both of these teams, I think, slide a bit in the middle 8. I think North Florida especially needs to take advantage of that because I imagine West Georgia will carry the lead for a majority of this game.
Exactly, yeah. And if I didn't mention my number 1 key for North Florida, it's rebounding. So that's my number 3rd key as well, is rebounding. They just need to rebound this game. They've got to keep it close, managing that differential there for them to win it.
I've got West Georgia winning this game. I just think they're too relentless on the interior in order for UNF to keep up with that. I mean, West Georgia's not a great shooting team, but they're just they bang it inside so often. Yeah. They wear teams down.
Yeah, and I'm the same prediction, same real reason why as well. And it's not just Shelton; it's their whole team mentality is to attack. They do need to hit the threes too, but it's the key to it is breaking down North Florida inside. Agreed.
Nice.
All right, let's move into the next game. Queens at Jacksonville. That's going to be a fun one. My first key for Queens.
Wait.
Yep.
I want to keep this graphic up for a little longer.
Sorry,
Queens 0-7 on the road. Jacksonville 3-0 at home.
Yeah, only 3 home games so far. Interesting. Yes. First ASUN home game for Jacksonville this season. All right, so my number 1 key for Queens, passing to score. They had 27 assists against Bellarmine. Really moved the ball well. Were smart about their dribble drive as well. So I think it's going to be a huge key for them is to continue to pass the ball well.
Okay, my first key for Queens is continue their glass emphasis. In 6 of their 8 losses, those coming games with the fewest total rebounds. Jacksonville also gives up the fewest rebounds of any ASUN team with 32.
Nice.
Against opponents, yeah.
Yep. My number 2 is match the Jacksonville physicality early. We know they're going to come out that way, but be careful not to get in foul trouble. They had 23 fouls against Bellarmine, and they played fantastic defense, still had 23 fouls. They can't afford to get that foul trouble, even with the depth that they have. We don't want to send Jacksonville to the line.
Nice. My second one is take effective threes. So after a game like the Bellarmine game, you can be real trigger happy from deep.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that. I want to see them take smart threes that they know they can really make, especially with Jacksonville having a really good second half guarding the arc against Austin Peay.
Yeah, they did. Yep. My number 3 key is continuing to be a rebounding force. We've almost called the Queens that now, right? They've had good rebounding efforts the last 2 games. We know Jacksonville is going to be a big challenge there. They need to deliver on that front to win this ball game.
My third key is pressure with points. So Jacksonville was able to win both of its D1 games in low-scoring matches. If Queens can run up the score, they might pull away. Jacksonville only has 2 D1 games this year where they scored over 70 points. Queens only 2 D1 games this year. They've scored under 70 points.
Wow. All right, on the Jacksonville side, my number 1, attack on offense. I want to see them really get inside, force Queens to foul, like we just talked about. I think it'll create some mismatches for them. So I really need to see them go.
Nice. My first one is close passing lanes. So Yoav Berman, Nasir Mann, Jordan Watford, they all have been fantastic with their passing selections in the Royals' first 2 ASUN games. Royals are 5-0 in nights with their most assist numbers. 0-5 in nights with their fewest assist numbers.
Nice. So my number 2 is for Jacksonville to get in their head, be physical, bang lanes, bang cutters, right? Be disruptive on the defensive end of the court. Make Queens try to do something they're not comfortable doing.
Yeah, mine's JTJ early, Jason Thirdkill Jr. Felt like he's been the defensive player for them in the past couple games. Dolphins also need to establish a defensive presence early in order to win. I'd like to see him matched up against Devontae Parker in this one as well.
Yeah, be a good matchup for sure. Be a good test. My number 3, Evan Stark, and Chris Arias. I want them to be forces outside. We saw that from Stark in the last game against Austin Peay. He had 4 threes. We need Arias to bring that same element to the game, which we know he can do.
Yeah, and I think if they're able to do that, they'll be able to do my third key. Feed Donsky. He's scored 10 or more points in the past 2 games. I'd like to see them do this on driving kicks rather than just throw it into him. Yeah. I think they turn the ball over a lot more often when they just try to kick it inside to him.
Yeah. Yep.
What do you got for the winner?
So I actually, to me, it's a dangerous game for Queens. First one on the road. They haven't won for ASUN play anyways against a physical group. A tough gym to play in. So I've got Jacksonville winning this game. Jacksonville's actually 3-1 in their 4 meetings ever. So, and I think they can match up against Ashby as well defensively.
Nice. Well, regardless of all that, I still have Queens winning this game. I mean, Queens' scoring ability, I think, is something that Jacksonville just won't be able to keep up with. The physicality, I am concerned with, and I think that's why Jacksonville might be able to pull away in this game. But Queens also doesn't rely on an interior game. Like head coach Grant Leonard even said it when we interviewed him. I don't think we post up that often, so they're a much more perimeter-based team. They're not going to be able to get in, they're not going to need that interior defense Jacksonville's so good at in this game. They're really going to have to defend the arc well.
It's a good matchup.
Mm-hmm. Now for North Alabama at Eastern Kentucky. So not a true advantage at home for Eastern Kentucky, at least so far this year. That might develop into it in ASUN play, but they are 2-4 at home, with North Alabama being 2-5 away from their home.
Right.
UNAKey, share the freaking rock. I've mentioned this a few times as important things for them, but we've talked about all this season about how they're playing way too much isolation offense. Only 5 assists in each of their ASUN games. Under 10 in the past 3 games. We saw how much LMU got out of hand. They need to do that.
Right, exactly. My number 1 key, and some of this is going to be on Neal's availability. He was out sick last game. But is to see who's on the court here. We saw in the last game, we saw Arcotton King play a lot more minutes. We saw Kadar Bodie play a lot more minutes. So I'm interested to see if the coaching staff is now finding the need or finding players that need to fill different roles for this stagnant offense that we've been talking about.
Nice. Mine's Bait EKU inside for my second one. They've been a better shooting team in conference play this season, but the 3 games prior to that were their worst 3 from shooting inside all season. 39% overall. Didn't surpass 42% in any of those 3 games.
Very nice. So my kind of along with my first one, my second point is diversify their offense a bit. Way too many contested shots. They'll dribble drive into double action, into double team action, rather than kicking the ball and finding a better shot. They actually, I think they have the shooters, but they're 11th in the conference in 3-point shooting percentage. So, or last, I'm sorry, they're last and 11th in 3-point attempts. They need to get some more diversity there.
Okay. My third point is physical interior defense. So 2 of EKU's last 3 games are their worst shooting efforts at line effectiveness-wise. Thought they also allowed Stetson to get back in this game because they stopped playing physical defense, the game that they lost on opening day. So, yeah, I think that it's really important they play physical defense, especially against Myrick and Paul.
Yep, and kind of in that same vein, rebounding domination is my third key for North Alabama. Even without Neal, they need every guy rebounding in this contest. EKU has actually given up. They've been out-rebounded. They were out-rebounded by Queens, for example. Right? They need to commit that way and shut down EKU's physicality there.
Okay. My first key for EKU is force UNA threes. Only team in the conference the Lions are shooting under 30% from beyond. Shot less than 30 in the past 3 games. Also in 4 of the last 5 games, they've shot under that number.
Very nice. EKU key for me, number 1, drive the offense around Monty. He's been dominating with the ball. I don't think he's been getting the ball enough. We saw it early in the season. He was getting the ball maybe too much offensively. I think now they need to get him the ball. Even if Neal's in the game, I still want to see him challenge there.
Okay. I would say expect interior attack is another one. UNA is a poor shooting team in general, but they are 0-4 in their worst nights shooting from the inside. So I'm sure head coach Tony Pujols aware of that as well. They're probably going to bang it inside a lot.
Yep. So with that in mind, I think EKU needs to have smart defending. They need to play with intensity. They need to play physical and stop that stuff without fouling. And force UNA into their one-dimensional style offense. Keep them in that form that they've been in recently.
Okay. My third point is bad mouth and butt tree. So I'll explain this one. Turner might be the most vocal player in the conference, both in communicating to his team but also chirping the opponent. I think he can get under UNA's skin in this one, force them to get into foul trouble. Kanan fouled out last game. I imagine he's going to be the one guarding Buttry. That can be an advantage there for them.
That'll be a fun hot mic.
Yeah, that would be awesome. There'd probably be a lot of bleeps in that one.
My third key, play with pace. I like EKU's outside game to get Holt, Buttry, Ball, all do a really good job scoring, especially from 3 when they're on the move and in open space. I don't know if the Lions can run out the same way if EKU gets it going.
Nice. I got Eastern Kentucky winning this one. I think just with UNA being the worst shooting team in the conference and EKU being one of the better shooting teams in the conference, plus they're going to be able to keep up with UNA's physicality, I think, a little bit. So, yeah, I think EKU is going to get the dub.
See, I have him winning as well. I think Jalen Cooper's a huge part. He had 25 minutes last game, his second game back after injury, so I think I can see him playing equal minutes, but even more dynamic than he is now. He's a very versatile player at both ends of the floor. I think he's a good matchup against Dante Bacchus. And I really like the first. I know they haven't had a great record at home so far this year. I think the home energy, first game in the season of this new year, maybe we'll see a coming out party here for EKU. Yeah. All right, next game, Lipscomb at Stetson. We've got, let's see, what's to talk about here? Sorry.
Lipscomb's 2-6 on the road, and yes. Stetson is 4-1 at home. So it seems like a big advantage for Stetson there.
It sure does, but we have to play the games.
Yeah, what's your first key?
Say. My first key for Lipscomb, move and pass. I thought they were a little stagnant against North Florida in their half-court game, especially in the first half. So they got to try enforcing it inside. So let's see if they can get the tempo running with some movement.
Interesting. Well, I think actually they need to play an inside-out offense. We saw against the Bears that's when UCA was able to confuse the Hatters defense, was when they played an inside-out offense. So I'd like to see that inside shot opening up the 3 ball in this one for the Bisons.
Yeah, I like that. My number 2 keys, bottle up Jamie Phillips, that is. Who are they going to use to do that? Or Ashkenazi missed last game. I didn't hear exactly. I think he had an elbow injury or something to that effect. But he missed it. He's a really good defender. Who's gonna D up Jamie as he gets into the elbows and does all his dynamic action that he does?
Right. Well, my second key is defend the paint. Stetson's 4-1 in games where they've shot over 60% from outside. They've also done so against both ASUN opponents this year. So Lipscomb's also 8-0 in games where the teams have shot 52% or worse from the inside.
Okay. Nice. My third one is generate transition points. They average over 16 points per game in transition. Had 21 against North Florida, but most of that came in the second half after they were kind of struggling. They found another gear there and had some turnovers and pushed the pace and were able to get their points back up again on the transition.
Okay. Mine's smart threes for the last one. Lipscomb 7-0 when shooting above 35% from deep or more. And then 0-4 in D1 games where they shot 30% or less.
Nice. On the Stetson side, my first key for them, manage the ball. They're 11th in turnovers, last in opponent steals. In the last game, McGregor, his second game back, I had 5 turnovers, so let's see if he can settle down a bit. But they really need to manage the ball, keep this in a half-court game style, in my mind, for Stetson.
Yeah, well, I'll move my third up to 1 based off that. Mine's play through Bobo. Stetson needs to limit turnovers, as you just said in this one. You need to put the ball in the hands of a responsible player with the ball, and Bobo only has 1.6 turnovers per game this season. Lipscomb's also 0-3 when opponents have 10 or less turnovers.
Nice. Yep. Big key. My number 2, the 3-ball. I think it hasn't been enough of a game. Part of Stetson's game this year is shooting threes. I think they've got the talent to do that. And for me, they need to create that space for Jamie to operate inside in the elbow area and in the low post area. They really need to hit their threes or take a lot of threes to open up that space.
Yes. Mine's depth scoring needed. So, or actually, you know what? I'll move it to my side. I'll mention that one at the end again.
Okay.
Perimeter-centric offense is what I have for my second key. Lipscomb's the leading 3-point shooting percentage team in the ASUN. Plus, they were both able to get steals on the interior in that clutch moment of that JU game. So I think that's really important. Stetson's also 4-1 when shooting 35% or higher from beyond.
Okay, right. Yeah, they need to shoot more threes. So my third key for Stetson is defending the arc. Stetson is actually 3rd in conference at opponent 3-point percentage. We know how much Lipscomb likes to shoot the 3. Big challenge for them in this game with Asman and Williams on the outside with their height advantage there.
Right. Mine's, well, you mentioned Asman, Williams, T-Toss has been great. The bench has been great. Depth scoring is going to be needed for Stetson in this one, especially with them playing through Phillips so often lately. Yep. Ethan Copeland's got to have a 15-plus point game. Colin Coole's got to be in that 10-point number. They need everyone to contribute in this one.
Yep. Agreed.
Kelvin Sermons needs to have 14 assists in this game.
14 assists, guys.
Yes.
No pressure.
No, who's your winner?
My winner is Lipscomb in this one. I think they've got too much firepower, too many options for them on the offensive end. And again, I think the big challenge outside with Grant and Williams Charlie present that for Lipscomb to handle. That's a tough matchup for them.
Nice. I have Lipscomb as well. I think because Stetson's scoring has been centered around one guy lately, the Bison's depth will ultimately carry them over in this one. Moving into Central Arkansas at Bellarmine, my first key, before we get into that, I'll actually mention 0-7 for Central Arkansas on the road, 3-2 for Bellarmine at home so far. Both teams averaging around the same amount of points per game as well. UCA's keys established the 3. SMU was the only game that they were able to put it together on both the interior and the outside. Also the only road game where they shot over 32% from deep. Bellarmine allows nearly 37% on the season, so it's a good chance to establish that 3-ball.
Right. My first key is half-court defense. We know Bellarmine's a very efficient shooting team. UCA is 3rd and field goal percentage against defensively and 2nd in 3-point attempts. Or percentage again, so it's a big key for them is to stop the half-court offense of Bellarmine.
Mm-hmm. My second is clean transition D. In the game against Stetson, when the Hatters were controlling the pace, they were coming back, and that was largely due to getting to the line in transition. So that's going to be a key for, I think, the Bears in this one.
Right. My second key for the Bears is generating offense from half-court offense. We know Bellarmine's a half-court team. And UCA is good on the run, right? So can they play really good, efficient half-court offense? It's going to be an important part for them.
Nice. On the defense, I'm not worried with that 3-2 they got. That's tremendous. My third key for the Bears is defend the arc. Bellarmine is now 0-6 when shooting 33% or less from downtown. And that's after that West Georgia loss.
Gotcha. My third key is creating second chance points. West Georgia, Queens both got a lot of offensive rebounds and points off of that against Bellarmine, and I think that's an area that UCA really needs to exploit as well. We'll see Marable hopefully feast in that space.
Nice. My first key for Bellarmine is get hacked. So Central Arkansas is 0-5 in games they've allowed opponents to get to the line the most. I know Bellarmine's been off from free throw land lately, but still a very important part in this game.
Exactly, and to that similar, they rediscover the rhythm for me is what I call their first key. They're 3 through 5s. They dribble, drive, and get fouled. We're going to see Wilson step it up a bit. He's been a little bit. He's only had 2 and 5 in the last 2 games, a 10-point average on the year, for example. Kenyon Gooding, Doyle had a good first half last time against Queens. Let's see him carry it over the whole game. Get 5 guys running rather than the main 2.
Nice. Well, reestablishing is part of mine as well. Reestablish that free throw prestige. They were first in the nation at entering conference play. They've shot 68% in the past 2 games. 1-4 in games when you shoot 75% or less from the line as well. That's what the Knights are.
Yep. Number 2 for me, defend with intensity. The last game against Queens, they got really exposed for dribble drive, kicks, and obviously the 3-pointers that were shot and went down. So they really need to lock down their defensive end to win this ball game against UCA, an athletic UCA team.
Okay. My third key is next to do good in. So Jack and Brian have both been offensive forces all season. We know that. Kenyon's establishment as a scorer has been great the past couple games, but it hasn't led to wins. So they need someone else, especially with the Bears being also a very deep team. Yeah. Someone else is going to have to step up and do something big for them.
Yep. Agreed. My third key, find some second chance points of your own. The Knights are actually last in the nation with 6 offensive rebounds per game average. They got to change that dynamic. That's a problem when you're only getting 6. They got to generate, and they're big enough and strong enough to get inside. Let's see it happen.
Okay. Well, mine's my winner in this one is Bellarmine. So if Jack Karazinski plays, because I know he got banged up at the end of the Queens game, but if he plays, he gets teams into foul trouble so often. Bellarmine's a top 3 scoring team or shooting team in all 3 shooting categories in the ASUN. The Bears haven't been able to shoot well on the road in consecutive games. They got to do that before I'm willing to give them a win on the road.
Okay. Right, they have struggled on the road for sure. So I have Central Arkansas winning this game. In this matchup, historically, 5 out of the 6 games have been won by the home team. I just think the Bears are playing more cohesively right now, top to bottom, depth-wise, and they're playing smart. They're playing opportunistic basketball. I am concerned a little bit about Jack, that he did get banged up a little bit against Queens. Can he be at 100%? He's still really good either way. But I think the Knights need to prove that their system, their half-court system, and how they run their offense with taking few threes, they need to prove that works for me in order to win them. But I got to win this game. I got the Bears winning.
Okay.
All right, next game, Austin Peay at Florida Gulf Coast. We've got a 2-5 record on the road for Austin Peay versus a 5-3 record at home for the Eagles. My number 1 key for Austin Peay is attacking inside with Parker and Marshall. I think they can really pressure a fouling FGCU team into fouling in this game as well, chasing, running around, and that would open up their game for what they like to do, which is to pass and score. They're number 2 in the conference in assists.
Nice. My first key is get to the line with what I discovered about FGCU earlier in the show. It'll be a solid game plan for them to attack inside and get those free throws. APSU is also 6-1 when getting 20 or more attempts at the stripe.
Listen, they get a lot of stripes from getting fouled on open play, which is my second key. Transition points, they still lead the conference. They're second in the nation in steals. I think it's a big element. It's a big part of their game, and got to see them keep doing it in order to win this tough contest.
Nice. Second for me is forced turnovers. Austin Peay is 5-1 when forcing teams to 15 or more turnovers in games.
Yep, there we go.
Relating to your last point.
Exactly. My third key for them is to get additional scoring from their 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th guy. They're very deep. I'm talking about Enright, Tate, McCubbin, Ja'Cory. Let's see them add some element of consistent offense to this game here. make it impossible for anybody really to stop their big three.
If they can get their whole squad in some offensive consistency, they could be like a 12 seed if they win the tournament.
Yeah, exactly.
And go to March.
Agreed.
Effectiveness inside is my third key for Austin Peay. They are 5-0 when shooting 60% or better from the interior. 1-3 in games with their lowest shooting percentages on the inside. That one win was that 3-point victory against Jacksonville from this past week.
Ooh. My keys for Florida Gulf Coast. Number 1, neutralize Zaire. I think Barno is a really tough matchup for Zaire. Speed for speed there. Zaire's fast. Surprisingly fast. That's going to be a tough matchup for him. Barno, he's going to play all 40 again. All 40 minutes. He's just going to be on the court the whole time. So, but I think it's a huge key for them to stop that penetration that Zaire's so good at.
Okay. My first key is less threes. So what Coach talks about, Coach Skit, head coach Pat Chambers said he's calling for less threes. Let's see that happen. I think it's something that needs to happen for FGCU, especially with the Governor's great exterior defense that we've been talking about all season long. It's really important in this one.
Right, and I went more of an offensive approach, aggressive approach to that. I said shoot threes early, at least early. We've got to get Austin Peay to extend out, get offensive rebounds. They're number 1 at offensive rebounds. The Eagles are in conference, and that happens by shooting threes and getting some better spacing out there for them to get inside and attack.
My second one is don't desert the three. So still hitting 40% from deep in the past 3 games, despite, Chambers calling for less threes. But just do it less. Yeah, I think it would be more important to open the inside game as well, so that way they can stretch the floor.
More efficient shooting. Mm-hmm. My third key, I finally found a key stat for Florida Gulf Coast that dictates winning or losing, and it's 30 rebounds. If they get more than 30 rebounds, or if they give up less than 30 rebounds, or both, those two stats are the entire difference for their winning or losing. 30 rebounds is the number.
Nice. My third key is building off that, dominate your own glass. So I didn't even know you were going to talk about that, and then I found this. 6-0 when they get 25 or more defensive rebounds. 1-8 in games when they're less than that.
Yeah. Yep.
Who do you got for your winner?
Very, very telling. I've got Florida Gulf Coast winning this game. I think it's the matchups are great in this game. There's so many good matchups here. I mentioned Collins and Barno. We've got Williams and Ellerby against Berkshire and Enright on the outside. We've got Parker against Duaxer and JR on the inside. McCubbin against JR Konechny defensively. I want to know if that's a matchup. In any event, I think Florida Gulf Coast is going to take this game. It'll be a very, very fun game to watch.
I don't know if the dogs agree or disagree based off of that. But mine is APSU, actually, for the win in this one. FGCU's big advantage, and especially with what you found and what I found about the rebounding as well, I don't think that they're at that much better of a rebounding team than the Govs are. I think the Govs kind of take away FGCU's key advantage. I'm gonna go with the Govs.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think the home thing here, tough to win on the road, is kind of the other anchor for me. So
then here are all your games on January 10th. You can see not all at 7 p.m. in this day. Once again, though, you can see where they are located. And a reminder, they're all on ESPN Plus if you can't make one of these games.
And our times are at Eastern time, just for everybody to remember.
Yes,
as well.
Yeah. 2 p.m. is when Queens will play at North Florida. As we discussed earlier, Queens has not won a game on the road yet this season, although we both I project them to, you project them to still be winless coming into this one. And North Florida, reminder, both of their wins this season are while they're at home. Queens keys, one for me, fire from deep. So whenever Queens hits more than 13 threes in a game, they've won. North Florida, obviously, as we talked about earlier, one of the best teams at shooting threes in the conference. And also, as the Ospreys have found that interior identity the past 5 games, they've allowed 40.6% of the shots from deep to go in.
Surprising a bit, but based on that. Anyways, my number 1 for Queens, run and gun. I think they just need to take off, score a lot of transition buckets, wear down the Ospreys in this particular game here, especially in the second half. We might see that.
Okay. And my second key, no milk for Oriole. So So continue to pressure Cameron Oriole because while he is a great scorer, he's been turning the ball over a lot more lately. So I'd like to see Mabon maybe Jordan run that blitz. Jordan, I know you said that you wanted to be a good defensive player. Here's a good game to show it. I also think his dominant offense is what could have carried UNF over against two opponents this past week that we think are top teams in the conference. Right. Queens, we also think, is a top team in the conference as well. I think that's important to deny him in this game.
Makes sense, yes. My number 2 for Queens, limit turnovers. They've done a good job in their first 2 ASUN games, 6 in the first game, 12 last game against Bellarmine. A lot of them were in one little stretch in the second half when it almost looked like they lost focus a bit. So they've been doing a good job there. Don't give pre-possessions off to North Florida. We know their offense is really doing a good job right now.
Okay. My third key is inside early. Avante Parker sets the tone for this team when he gets going from inside at the beginning of games. Plus, that can expose the Ospreys' inside game, make them focus on that interior game more. It'll open up the threes later.
Yeah, I like that one. Very nice. I should have reordered mine based on what you had said. I said put length on Cam and Kent. Mabon, Jordan, Nas. I think that's a key to them to really extending and making life difficult for those two dynamic guards on North Florida.
Okay. My first key for the Ospreys is limit rebounds. Queens has emphasized that rebounding, as we've talked about in these past 2 games. Try to disrupt that battle for possessions. If they're able to do that, that could throw Queens off their game.
For sure. Exactly. I agree with that. Mine is ball movement. We've seen, again, North Florida moving the ball better, getting to open spots much better, finding much easier looks. Get Queens defense running around a bit, and again, see if they can foul. We know they like to foul. They're actually first and last in the ASUN at committing fouls.
My second one is keep up offensively. So this one has the potential to turn into a 3-point shootout. They're going to have to be able to keep up with that offensive intensity if they want to stay in this game.
So I put my next one is take it slow. I actually think for North Florida to win this game, they're going to have to slow the game down and still generate the same type of offense, but meaning keep the transition out of the way. Defend hard, don't limit offensive rebounds, and just slow the game down. Try to limit the number of total possessions for both teams.
All right. My third one is don't fall behind late. UNF hits another gear when they get down late, especially from deep, like you see when they're down late and they're trying to come back into it. Cameron Oriole and Kent Jackson will both start just hucking up threes. They make them. They hit that extra. They've got the clutch factor for sure. But in order to break this losing streak, you got to stop getting behind by so much late in the game.
That's for sure, yes. My third key, we'll use the youth movement. Plummer and Katie, to me, they're vets now. First of all, we're in mid-season. They're vets. We need top performances out of them, especially on the defensive end. Cut those the offensive rebounds by their opponents down 16 and 18 the last 2 games. They got to shut that part of Queens' game down.
Why? What's your victor?
So I have Queens winning this ball game. Even though North Florida's playing better, I think Queen has too many buttons they can press to push the pace here. I'm really concerned about that. Can North Florida keep up overall from over the 40 minutes?
Once again, I can't tell if the dogs agree or disagree.
It's twice now.
I know.
We'll get on them afterwards.
For me, Queens is also going to be the victor. I want to pick UNF in one of these games because they've been playing so much better lately. But this is a really tough week. I think they're going up against all 4 teams that I've had in my top 4. I think both of us. No, you didn't have Austin Peay in your top 4. Alex made sure to remind you of that this week. But yeah, no, all 4 teams that were in my top 4 projections-wise at the beginning of the season are the teams that UNF is opening up their season against. But they've been playing so much better lately.
Yes, they have. Exactly.
Yeah, but I still got Queens. What's your next game in this one?
All right, we have North Alabama going to Bellarmine. North Alabama is 2-5 on the road. Actually, they did have a nice couple road victories early in the year. We thought was going to spur them into another level there. Bellarmine only played 5 games at home. They're 3-2. So my first key for North Alabama in this game, they got to crash the glass. They take advantage of the opportunities that present themselves in that department. No, they really got to generate offense from other ways other than dribble drive.
Okay, that's good.
What's your number one?
Mine is a strong second half for UNA. Bellarmine has been able to get back into games in the second half. That's where North Alabama lost it against Stetson. Same thing against FGCU in that 8-minute mark, they lost their scoring touch, as I mentioned earlier during our week-by-week breakdowns. Gotta have that strong second half.
Yep, that's a good one. For me, I'm going to kind of go back to what I did in the first game for this week coming up for North Alabama is find the cohesive group of 5 that are going to be on the floor that gives them the best dynamic offense. We're getting too static there. There's an opportunity here for them against Bellarmine to do that. Hopefully a second game into some new dynamic of lineup. Let's see them deliver now.
Nice. My second key is establish the 3. So what I talked about earlier in the week for UCA, same thing for North Alabama here. Bellarmine allows almost 37% from downtown. Really important for UNA to actually be able to find some sort of 3-point shooting because they haven't been good at home or on the road.
Not at all. I agree with you there. Yep. My third key for North Alabama is they got to defend hard. They got to bang. I know Bellarmine's a great free throw shooting team, but they got to bang hard. It's just going to be part of the game to win by creating some structure at the defensive end, creating some chaos, hopefully get some turnovers and runouts that way.
Nice. My third key is focus interior to open that exterior. So I just talked about establishing the 3. Their strength comes on the inside. So if they can establish maybe getting that interior game going, then you can open up the 3 ball.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like it.
I didn't want to say pass the rock again because I already said that earlier for UNA, but that's an obvious one.
No, it is, exactly.
For Bellarmine, what's your first key?
For my, I think it's just, again, being kind of true to themselves. This is a game here where, again, UNA's been struggling, right? So if they can and they keep looking at each other on the defensive end, even or both ends of the court, UNA does often. So Bellarmine, be smart with what you're playing, just know what you are and deliver on it. Get inside, power the game.
Nice. My first key for Bellarmine is attack the glass. So this is if Neal is held out with illness once again. It gives the nice chance to do something, which you've been harping on they're not good at, getting offensive rebounds. So
yep.
I think that's something that they have a chance to do in this game if Neal's out. If not, they're going to have to adjust.
Right. I like for Bellarmine, my number 2 key is to play that really packed in defense. You talked about North Alabama's difficulty shooting 3s. Pack it in, make them shoot the 3 and see what happens from there, and just in this rebound.
Okay. My second key is mix in a 3 for Bellarmine. So what I mean by that is they're great interior offense, but the Lions have a lot of trees on their team.
Yeah.
So they also would be good to open up that 3 ball, especially with what you just talked about. UNA might not be able to keep up with them if they're able to get the 3 ball going. Exactly.
Actually, that was going to be my number 3 key as well, is shooting, finding some way to get some additional 3-point action out of there. Maybe Donovan's going to do that.
Yeah, I could see Donovan. Now you can talk about Donovan Hunter.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I agree. They need a 3-point impact to add to the value of what they already have on offense, what they create.
Right.
Who do you got for winning? Oh no. Yep. Who do you got for winning this?
No, I got my third key. I got to give up, which is disrupt half-court offense. North Alabama doesn't assist much, relying on individual creation. If you can force them to play fast, that might help you win the turnover battle. Now I'll give you my
yes.
My
I'm getting a little anxious. I'm like one of the dogs. I'm getting too excited.
I got North Alabama in this one. While I love Bellarmine's offense, I think this is a really solid matchup for UNA. They're bigger, they're stronger, they're more physical. I think this is one of those I think the Lions are one of the few teams in the conference that can force Bellarmine to play out of their identity. So I think I'm giving this one to the Lions because of that. Okay. Only contingent on if Neal's playing, though.
If Neal's playing, right. Yeah, I wouldn't, well, who knows? Shouldn't speculate on that. I've got Bellarmine winning this contest. One, they're home. You can clearly see that. But 2, that I think I agree with it. It's a good matchup, but I think it's actually a good matchup for Bellarmine's talents as well. I think North Alabama doesn't really pressure defensively as much as other teams do. To me, that fits well into Bellarmine's ability to deliver on their offense that they normally run. So that's why I have them winning.
Okay. Next game is Austin Peay. Also at 2 p.m. is this one. Reminder, Peay is 2-5 on the road currently. Stetson only 1 loss at home in the 5 games that they've played. My first key for Peay, shut down JPJ. Jamie Phillips Jr. average is 21.2 in their wins, 12.8 in their losses. He did get 22 in the loss to Central Arkansas, though.
Right. My first key is to exploit the matchups. I think they have matchups galore based on their roster. I'm looking at opportunities there based on some holes that I think Stetson probably has defensively. Parker McCubbin, versatility type of game, inside out, and I think Zyrie's speed is going to be a big challenge that they need to utilize in this game.
Okay. I think my second key is keep pace slow. So in both games this past week, I thought Stetson was much better in transition than they were in half court, and that's why I think they should slow the pace.
Yep, agreed. My number 2, pressure, and I'm talking about defensively. Stetson's definitely moved the ball better, but I think against UNA's defense, Peay presents a whole different level of challenge. They're super aggressive at doubling, at rotating, throwing different looks out there, so I think that's going to be a big challenge for the Stetson team that's currently 11th in turnovers.
Nice. My third is forced man-to-man defense. So if Austin Peay is able to break Stetson's zone defense and force them to play man, I think this game will go better for them. Stetson's zone defense was a lot better than their man-to-man defense in these past 2 games.
Nice. Like that. My third key is do what they do. We know what that. No, stay within themselves, right? Especially if they win their next game here, they're really riding a high. Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't get too big of a head in this scenario here. Winning 2 road games in one weekend is a hard thing to do. I'm assuming they're winning their first one this weekend. Just stay within their play.
My first key for Stetson is physical press defense. We saw in person that Jacksonville was able to play with Austin Peay because of their physicality. I think Stetson, if they're able to provide the same thing here, they do have a good press defense as well. I think it would be good for them to be able to pull that off.
Oh, yeah. I like that. Yep. My first key for Stetson, 3-point heaven, I called it. Just penetrating inside their D. It's going to be tough to do, but I think for them to win this game, they've got to hit some threes. We talked about that last game as well for Stetson.
My second key for Stetson is consistency in both halves. Against Central Arkansas, Ethan Copeland, a 3-point first half, 11-point second. Colin Cool, a 10-point first half, 1-point second. Want to see consistency in both halves from these guys.
Yep, and these are keys. My second key is similar to one we had from last game for Stetson, is controlling the ball. They've really got to handle it properly against this high-pressure team here. Again, we'll see Calvin Sermons with getting 35 minutes and 8 assists in this contest.
No, 18 assists.
18 assists in this contest. No, I think they just need to manage the ball, work it through the pass, not through the dribble as much.
Yeah.
That'll be a key for them in this contest.
My third key for Stetson is isolation offense. Because Austin Peay is great at generating steals anywhere on the court, I think Stetson needs to play much more isolation offense in this one to get the W.
Yeah, and my third key here is stout defending. They're going to have a big challenge here, but they really got to defend Parker with his back to the basket, Marshall the same thing, and keep Zyrie from driving. For them to pull this game off, there's 3 big challenges from arguably the biggest 3 offensive threats on the Austin Peay side. Right. I would think Cool and Chope need to be big, and especially big in that sense.
Yes.
So,
who do you got?
End result, I'm going to have Austin Peay win this game as well. Again, present with all the things I just talked about. Their strength inside is a tough matchup for Stetson. I think end to end from the game, I think they can get the Hatters into foul trouble, that's where I'm at with it. I think that's the biggest key to this one. So
I got Austin Peay as well. I just don't think Stetson is going to have the defensive capabilities to shut down Peay's incredibly deep offense.
Yeah. Okay.
Seems similar scenario to what's going on with their game against Lipscomb earlier in the week.
Yeah.
For 3 p.m., West Georgia at Jacksonville. Reminder, West Georgia has over half of their losses on the road. Jacksonville is currently undefeated when at home.
Yes, they are.
What's your keys for West Georgia?
West Georgia, the guard is a huge pressure game for their guards. We know the Jacksonville's banging inside, but their offense runs through their guards. They really got to deliver there. Lots of touches for Josh Smith in this contest. I think he really needs to be a dynamic force here in creating offense. And then we need the guys like Zusic, like Hardaway to hit their threes, to be open for threes, to move and find open 3 spots. Okay. It'll open up Jacksonville's defense if they can do that.
All right. My first key for West Georgia is good last 5 minutes. So in the last 5 minutes of each half against EKU, and it was right at the start, but their defense got a little bit sloppy, especially in the rebounding department. I want to see them focus in during that time in this game.
Okay.
Because those could be clutch moments in this game.
Exactly. Right. So I got the Wolves need to bring the Windex. They've got to clean the glass. Jacksonville is 3rd in conference in offensive rebounds, and the Wolves are 10th in allowing offensive rebounds from their opponents. So it's a big area of emphasis, I think, that they need to be really clean on.
My second key is split offensive effort. So we saw this in the EKU game, especially in the second half, but Jacksonville is likely going to wear their main shot takers down in this game because of the physicality. And Malcolm Noel and Colton Griffin stepped up big in that second half. They're going to have to do so again in this game.
Right. My third key, it's kind of like Austin Peay, play your game. I think, especially if they win their first game of the week and are 3-0 in this contest, the Wolves play off of a lot of emotion. Coach Moore has talked about that often as well. Just channeling that in the right way in a tough road gym here, so for them to win, I think they really just got to channel it into action on the floor, not get wrapped up in other stuff.
My last one for West Georgia is full defensive effort. So while Jacksonville doesn't have the guy on the team this year, they've got about 7 or 8 guys that could take over a game if they really start getting hot. So I think that's really important for West Georgia. It's a full defensive effort from everyone.
Yep. Nice. My first key for Jacksonville is we got to get Sheldon outside. He's an inside game master. Just bang him, really get him frustrated on the, not frustrated on the inside, but push him to the outside, only give him spacing on the outside. That, to me, limit his effectiveness by pushing him to the outside.
Okay. Mine's methodical offense from Jacksonville. West Georgia's good at transition defense. I don't expect a lot of fast break points from Jacksonville. Instead, focus on that half-court offense.
Yep, and I have patient, opportunistic offense as my second key, so we're in the same vein there, especially from 3. We've got Jones driving, Rivers and third kill on the inside, being very disruptive. To me, that opens up the Stirk, Lockett, Arias game from the outside to be effective. West Georgia is actually second in opponent 3-point makes, but Jacksonville, I think, has the shooters. They got to shoot it in order to get the rest of their game going on the offensive end.
My defensive key for Jacksonville in this one is full court pressure. Saw it against Georgia and EKU on that 10-0 run in the first when EKU had that.
Yep.
Georgia can have problems inbounding the ball in a full court press. I think Jacksonville showed a good full court press against Austin Peay. I would like to see them run that a lot in this game.
That's a great point. I like that one a lot. Very nice. Very good. So my third one, maybe it could line up a little bit like that. I said a fast start. If Jacksonville gets off to a fast start, we have seen West Georgia come back from being down early, but they have also been down early at home. This is a different scenario here. If they get down early on the road at Swisher, I think they could be challenged, especially with like what you just said there, with a hard pressing Jacksonville defense.
Right. My third point for Jacksonville, similar to my third point for him earlier, drive and dish. Jacksonville turns the ball over on the eye test a lot more when they just throw it inside to Donsky compared to when Evan drives in, gets the third kill for a reverse layup. I got a video of that against Austin Peay.
Yep.
Same thing with Donsky. They're able to do that for him as well. Dish it out. Hayden Wood more plays on the perimeter and then tries to drive in. When he does get a drive and dish play, he's usually the guy that's dished to. But yeah, I think that's how you're going to create scoring opportunities rather than just trying to force it inside.
Okay.
Who do you got winning?
I've got Jacksonville winning both their games this weekend, including this one, obviously. Scoring is going to be the key for them. Can they keep up with West Georgia's offense? Because they will score. I think it's the home court advantage to me is making a difference here. And you mentioned as well the guard depth for West Georgia. Can they handle that pressure across the board?
I also have Jacksonville. I think Jacks, as I said, I think they're gonna. I said it was a key for them, and for West Georgia, I think they are going to wear down Shelton Williams-Dryden and Josh Smith in this one. And the Wolves don't really have the depth of scoring outside of, like Noel and Griffin can get it done,
right?
But they're not consistent in getting it done. So I think that needs to happen in order for West Georgia to get the win. Jacksonville's just got a variety of players that are going to contribute on the course of the night. I think that's going to give Jacksonville the win in this game.
Right. Gotcha. Cool. Next up, Lipscomb at Florida Gulf Coast in Fort Myers. We have two very high-scoring teams facing off in this contest.
Yeah. My first key is get Grant going. He has not had his best shooting games as far as percentage-wise go in the past few games. And he shot a lot less against Cincinnati and Jacksonville. I want to see him have a better week with field goal effectiveness and just shoot it as many times as you can.
Okay. like it. I have for Lipscomb, getting the Eagles moving defensively. And again, I think Lipscomb's at their best offensively when they get motion, they get their bodies moving, get the ball moving through the air, and I think that'll help set up their offensive game.
Nice. My second one for the Bisons, pick up the pace. FGCU has lost games that turn into shootouts. Not all of them, but a majority of them. And they can get very trigger happy from 3 when they are in shootout games, which goes against what head coach Pat Chambers wants to do.
Nice. Similar to what we're going to see common this year, I think, with Lipscomb is the matchups of Williams and Asman outside present huge matchup issues for me for Florida Gulf Coast if they try to match up big for big. If they do that, it opens up the inside game for the dribble drivers that they have on the team, which are plenty.
Nice. My third point, and this kind of goes along with if Asman's able to do well, Malone gone mad is what I call it. It's been mentioned in multiple games this season that Isaiah Malone's an emotional player. Try to get under his skin in this game, force him to cause fouls, and get him out of the game, because that's another reason why Asman might not shoot well in this game. He's a great shot blocker.
He certainly is. That's right. My third key is on the other end of the court, defending as a group. I think the Eagles' speed off the bounce, especially Barno and J.R. Konechny, is really going to challenge Lipscomb's core and their defensive end of the piece. So they got to really lock in and not have any of those moments of gaps during games like what Coach Carroll has talked about here and there throughout the season.
Okay. My first key for FGCU is bench scoring. I think we know Lipscomb's bench has been on fire lately. Ethan Duncan, Cole Middleton's been good. Kennedy Akpar has been great in both games. He's really shined lately as a freshman. He might earn himself a freshman team spot.
Yep.
And FGCU is going to have to do the same in order to influence this game, and they have the capability to do so.
Nice. I got for Florida Gulf Coast, winning the rebounding battle is huge here. We talked about that for the first game here. Lipscomb's -2 rebounding differential for the year. The Eagles are number 1, tied for first in offensive rebounds. So I think it's a big opportunity for someone like Isaiah Malone to really take advantage of that inside game and be a physical presence in there.
Okay. My second one is team effort. FGCU has been inconsistent. They fluctuate who their leading scorer is all the time, but I think it's less because of the depth of their team and more because everyone just keeps having good or bad nights. It's not everyone's. It's time to put it all together for FGCU.
Okay.
Especially against a team like Lipscomb.
Yeah, you got to bring it all the whole game for against them for sure. My number 2, shut down Teo and Osman. Those two are like they're brothers from another mother. They just think alike. They think the game alike. To me, that is the key to their whole offense is there. I like the matchup of Barno against Malone against Teo and Osman to see how well they do at shutting that dynamic duo down.
Nice. My third key for FGCU, another wordplay one, guard the Sarge. He's been the catalyst for Lipscomb's offense early in both ASUN games so far this year. FGCU can get it off to a hot start if they shut him down early.
Yeah, nice. My third key, and maybe the most important key, is get JR really going. He's so dynamic as an offensive player. His speed, power, savvy on the offensive end of the court to really pressure Lipscomb's defensive end. Kick him out for threes, whatever, to Williams. Stewart, we didn't see Williams and Stewart, well, not Williams much in their last game. But I'd like to see that JR generate some offense for those outside shooting guys.
Nice. My winner in this one I didn't pick when I planned because I wanted to pick this one in the heat of the moment.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Lipscomb in this one. Still, I think this could be possibly game of the week here. But yeah, I think because Lipscomb has shown more consistency throughout the season, I'm going to give it to them over FGCU.
Okay. I've got Florida Gulf Coast winning this game. So Lipscomb has won the last 3 in this series, including the last 2 at Alico. I found that interesting fact. But I think Florida Gulf Coast is going to overcome this time. Their speed is a big challenge for Lipscomb in my mind to overcome. I think Ellerby's a huge key as well. We haven't talked about Jordan Ellerby much here, but defensively, him stopping their wing play of Lipscomb is a good matchup there, and I think the 3-pointers is Florida Gulf Coast is going to hit their threes and take down the Bisons in this game. Next up, Central Arkansas at Eastern Kentucky, 4 p.m. Eastern time. We already talked about Central Arkansas's difficulties on the road, 0-7 prior to this week's games, and Eastern Kentucky has the 2 home wins against 4 losses. The 2 home wins were non-Division 1 opponents, in fact. So 0-4 at home against Division 1 opponents prior to this week.
Ooh, good nugget.
Yes. First key for me for Central Arkansas, secondary scoring. Season-long strength of guards aligning well against the defense, against EKU's defense. We need to see Luke Moore. He's had a couple down games, 3 points, 5 points, in the first two ASUN games. I'd love to see Marable get inside and do some damage offensively, and then Truman Byrne as well. So some secondary scoring to go along with their dynamic too on the outside, on the inside. Excuse me.
My first one is play in transition. We've seen the Colonels struggle in transition defense all year long. They did better against West Georgia, but UCA also looks a lot better when they play quickly.
Yep, very true. Defending the bigs, I think, is going to be a major factor for the Bears. How are they going to shut down Myrick's inside power game? Are they going to play zone, man? Are they going to have Marable on him one-on-one and double team? Like, I'm really interested to see there, but they really got to shut Myrick down. To me, their offense revolves around Monty.
My second key is probably my favorite key of all season that I've found. More inside than out, so that's not new. But while EKU does allow just under 35% shooting from outside on a season average, just 21.6% in the past 2 games.
Ooh.
Yeah. So EKU also has allowed 65.5% of their opponents to drop from inside the arc in this early ASUN season. That's a key for a UCA team that likes to shoot a lot of threes.
Nice one. That's really good. Great research there. You spent a little time doing that. Anyways, number 3 for me is for UCA to use their speed, especially in the transition game. I don't think that EKU can keep up there potentially, right? If they can run it out. They're second in steals in conference, UCA is. So let's use that transition time that they can generate from getting steals and going.
My third key for the Bears.
Yes.
Once again, it's what I talked about earlier. You got to shoot well on the road. I want to see them put together 2 good games of shooting well on the road. They're a completely different team at home than when they are away. Let's see it happen. I mean, I know they were better against Vanderbilt and SMU, but full shooting effort in both sides.
Right. Gotcha. Nice. For me, for Eastern Kentucky, their keys are defending the UCA guards. We know Cam Hunter is really good at posting up. And Ty Robinson's athleticism, size, his strength, confidence in his game, those are going to be big elements for EKU to stop on the defensive end of the floor. How does EKU approach defending those 2 guys?
Nice. My first EKU, and this is going to be a fast-paced game, especially if they both follow my keys, because play fast is my first for Eastern Kentucky. Their defense seems to struggle in transition as well as the Colonels does. For the Bears, I mean, and we saw that early with FGCU going out to that 10-0 run.
Yep.
Early, same thing against Stetson. Stetson worked their way back when they were playing fast. I think that's a key for the Colonels in this one as well.
Nice. Yep. I do as well. My second key, however, is rebounding. We've seen they've been out-rebounded in both their ASUN games. They really got to fix that there. I think, again, Jalen Cooper, I think, is going to be a big benefit to them to helping defending, but they got to stop the Bears, who are actually number 1 in defensive rebounds on the year in conference. So get some more offensive rebounds, get some second chance points there.
Nice. My second key is quick half-court ball movement. So when you are forced to not play fast, the Bears' 3-2 defense can seem intimidating. But I think there's times where that defense almost looks like a 4-1 rather than a 3-2, and EKU can take advantage of that. I saw it in the, I think it was the Stetson game. And they can kick it inside to Monty or Paul, let one of them eat, or kick it out to the corner threes for Holt or Buttry, something like that. Stetson was able to find opportunities to score that way. I think EKU can do that even more than Stetson can.
Yep, and I just said generically pop threes as well. I think this is a big game for Cranford to really light up here, for Jackson Hole to get some threes as well, for Austin Ball to get some threes. They've got opportunities there to put a lot of pressure on UCA's defense by hitting threes. Even though they're very good at defending the three, UCA is, that's the area that I think they need to try to exploit.
Yep. My third key for EKU is solid interior D. Obviously, what I just discussed earlier for UCA, why they should attack the inside. And then UCA is still 0-8 in their games. They've shot the worst from the interior.
Okay. How about that? So, who's going to be the winner?
I'm going with Eastern Kentucky in this one. So, I feel bad for the Bears. They probably think I'm preying on their downfall or something like that because I had them lose to FGCU last week at home. One of the two games I got wrong. But they take a lot of threes. As I've discussed, EKU has been great at that in this new year so far. Also, I don't really think UCA has enough guys that play interior game with the size outside of Malchiah Marable.
Right.
Like Truman Burns more of a perimeter player
Right.
than he is an interior player. So I think they can't get over the trees. Paul and Myrick, Jalen Cooper now as well, a great rebounder. It's going to be interesting to see how them three rotate playing the 4 through 5 spot. But yeah, so I'm going with EKU.
Okay, well, I got Central Arkansas winning this game. I agree with you 100%. It's a fun matchup. You've got guard strength on Central Arkansas. You've got forward power and strength and depth for Eastern Kentucky. So that's just a great matchup there. Eastern Kentucky's actually won their last 5 contests of this matchup here, but I'm still going to go with the Bears. Both teams shoot a lot of threes. I think here's the thing. EKU, again, I mentioned it earlier. They're 0-4 at home against Division I opponents. And they've shot, in those 4 games, they've shot under their average percentage-wise in threes in those 3 contests. So I think that carries over here. And with UCA's propensity at defending the arc, to me, that's going to be a difference there. Even though they're going to shoot a lot of them, I think it's going to be a win that way for UCA.
Well, we'll remind everyone real quick of what our Week 1 guesses were. Give us a guess to who you think's going to win these games down below as well. Going to take another 30-second break. If you want to quick past that, just click the screen 3 times to get back to what we were doing next, which is the name draft. All right, welcome on back. Hope you got yourself a snack if you are ready for this name draft here. So we are going to start off by clicking this randomizer here. See who gets first pick in the draft. And
Must be I win.
You're gonna take my number 1 guy.
Must be
You won.
All right, my number 1 pick, the first pick in the draft, belongs to West Georgia's Kenneth Chime.
I knew you were going to go with it. Yeah.
I mean, Curtis and I have had a lot of, it's a great name. It's got heritage. I think it's really cool. And we've had a lot of fun trying to come up with different kind of monikers about his shot blocking thing and food. And so we've done a whole bunch of fun stuff with him. So
obviously it's Chime time because his name is spelled Chime. It's pronounced Chime, which I messaged the Georgia announcer about it, by the way. I was like, dude, stop it. This is a big stage for him. Stop announcing him as Chime. But Chimichanga is just so awesome.
It really is. Exactly.
Yes. So my name that I'm picking with my first pick is Kelvin Bobo Sermons III. I mean, come on. Bobo is just an awesome nickname.
It sure is.
You gotta always love names that end in thirds or just anything like that. Yeah, I'm going with Kelvin Bobo.
That's a great choice. I agree too. He would have been very high on my list as well. So nicely done. Even in the summer when he first announced the transfer.
It's Bobo time. Was what you said.
Exactly. All right, who's your first pick in the second round?
My first pick in the second round is Jimma James.
Oh yeah.
I think that name is just fantastic. I love alliteration. I know Jimma's redshirting this year. I had a conversation with head coach Grant Leonard about it before their first game at Winthrop. But yeah, awesome name from Jimma James, 110%. Who's your second pick?
My second pick is Turner Buttry.
Oh,
if you were to describe what Turner Buttry looks like and where he's from, you just look at Turner Buttry's picture. He is Turner Buttry, like in a nutshell. So it's just the perfect name for the person. So
all right, well, yeah, exactly. So who's your second?
Oh yeah, I got to pick again. All right, my third pick, kind of in the same vein, actually. I think I'll go this way here. I'm gonna go with Truman Byrne.
Okay,
it's a very regal name. And he looks like his name should be Truman Byrne. It's kind of, again, I realize it's the same kind of thought process, but I just love the name. It flows nice, probably with the Australian accent for him to say it. Every time I hear his name, I say it like one of the Jerry Seinfeld things. So anyways, I have a lot of fun with his name.
Okay.
That's very
cool.
I
think it's a really solid name as well. He was one of the guys that just made it off of my list. For my What, third pick?
Third
oh
pick,
my
yeah.
gosh, this is crazy. My third pick, I'm going to go with a classic. Everyone loves this name. George Washington III.
Yeah, nice, yes.
I was worried you were going to take him
Oh,
on the come around there. But yeah, how can you not take George Washington III? I'm excited for him to get healthy, get back in the game, so that way we can hear his name called a lot more for FGCU.
Exactly. All right, you're up again.
Oh, I'm going to go with Hansel and Manuel.
Oh, I just was highlighting him.
Were you really? Yes, I'm glad I took him in this round then. Yeah, I mean, come on. Same thing. There's alliteration towards the end of his name with that one. Just a fantastic name in this draft.
Exactly. Speaking of which, my fourth pick, Montavious Myrick.
Oh,
The
that's another good one as well.
That it's so fun.
He's also on my list. Dang it. Good pick. All right, who's your fifth?
All right, my next pick, I'm going to go kind of back to a little bit of... So this name is... actually, no, I take it back. I'm going to go this way. Because the last name of Acker, there's nicknames for Acker, but they're not, like, fun nicknames necessarily.
I've got a bunch of fun
There's kind of fun, but anyways, I love this name because the last name you can do so much with. Colin Cool.
Okay.
How much stuff you can do with Colin Cool? If my last name was Cool, that'd be so cool. So that's why I go with Colin Cool.
All right. I like it. And then the last pick of mine to round out our starting fives is I gotta think about this one. Think about who you're gonna take on the way back. I'm gonna save my sleeper for the end. I'm gonna go Nasir Man.
Oh, dang it.
Also another kind of what you were just talking about with Colin Cool. Plenty of ways that you can play off Nasir's name. So I'm gonna go with Nasir with this
Plus,
one.
he is the man when he's on the floor.
Yes, he is.
That's a great name and a great match there. Nicely done.
All right, well, that concludes our starting fives. Now we'll move into our rotational players. Not that these guys had just our starting five, our top five names. I'm going to go with Titas Sargunis.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great one.
You got to go with that. I mean, how can you not? Such a great name. That's who I'm picking, Titas, with this one.
Very nicely done. I like it. All right, my number 6 pick in the draft is going to be Tate McCubbin.
Yeah,
It's such a versatile name. He's an athlete. He's a senator from Louisiana. He could be an artist. Like that name, you can apply that name to so many. I can see his name on a book or on a random. That's just a fun name. Lots of variety there. So congratulations, Tate, on having that name.
All right.
Things we have no control over,
No,
of course.
exactly. Who's your 7th pick in this draft?
I'm going to go to kind of your thing before we talk about alliteration. Jalen Jordan. It just flows. It's got such a great feel. Well, as a parent, too, when we were coming up with names for you and your brother, there was, we were trying to play off of Acker and stuff like that. But we didn't, Acker didn't have a good first name to really match up with it. Jalen Jordan is so nice.
Nice. Whew. All right. Pick 7.
Yes.
I'm going to take another guy that's not playing this year, but I just love his name, and I feel like you can put so much pump into it. Amar Knox.
You can.
I'm going to go with Amar Knox for sure. That's my 7th pick. And then my 8th pick here, I'm still going to save him for the end, but I'm going to go with Matar Jopa.
Nice.
As well.
Yes, yeah.
I really like same thing, kind of like what you were talking about with Chime. There's a lot of history in that name. I like that name a lot. I'm going to go with Matar.
Very nice.
Congratulations, Matar, on being drafted to Team Acker.
Wait,
we're
which
both Team Acker.
Very nice. I am going to take with my 8th. No.
This is your 8th pick.
No, you need one more pick.
No, I took 7 already.
Yeah, now you pick 8.
All right, that was my 8th pick. I took Amar, and then I took Jope.
Oh, Chope. I forgot to write it down. Sorry about that. Who was your third?
Which, by the way, so it was Chope, Chope, on LMU's website last year. On this year, on Stetson's,
right.
It's Jope. Jope.
With like more of a J sound.
With more of a J sound, yeah.
I like that. I hope that's correct. Who did you pick in your third round? I forgot to write that.
My third pick was George Washington III.
Oh, then, yeah, who was fourth then? Sorry.
My 4th pick was Hansel and Manuel.
Oh, Emmanuel, that's right. Yeah, no wonder I'm mad. I love that name. That's fantastic. All right, anyways, with my 8th pick, I'm not a huge fan of this movie series. I like it, but it's not like off the charts. But this is a movie series name. Quan Lax. Isn't that a Star Wars name? Like he's, sorry, I should have probably explained that a little better. But yeah, it's just a cool name. Two single syllables. Boom, boom, done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it gets kind of that exotic bit to it as well. So
nice.
That's what I'm going with. Quan Lax. Number 9. I like. I'm gonna go with. We had this theme a little bit before. Ellen Udemadu.
Okay.
It's just a fun name to say, especially the Ellen part.
Yeah.
No, the Udemadu part.
Yes, very, especially the Ellen part. All right, so I got my final 2 picks here, right?
You get yes.
This
correct.
stinks because I still have a lot of names that I want to draft. I have more than 2 names that I want to pick. All right. Well, then I am going to go with Kenyon Gooden.
Ooh.
I just like there's a lot of wordplay that you can do with that one as well. So I am going to go with Kenyon for that. And then, all right, this is my sleeper that I was saving for the end. There's one name that I really want to pick instead of him, but I'm going to pick him because he was my sleeper. Tito Dang.
Nice.
I love Tito Dang's name. That's such a fun name to say. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Tito Dang.
Cool.
For the final pick.
Right. Nice.
And your final pick of the draft.
Oh man, the final pick. You think it'd be this dramatic thing, but it's probably not going to be.
Yeah.
Janusz Ratowski.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt where he's from. And again, it's such a fun name.
You can only pick him if you say his name correctly.
Did I say it wrong?
Yeah.
Janusz Ratowski.
There you
Did I
go.
not say that the first time?
Yeah, I think you said Ratowski the first time. Maybe I did. Maybe
we gotta
I
go to the film on that one. I may have.
Go to the tape. All right, so I would say real quick, I wasn't planning on doing this, but let's give 3 names that we think should have been drafted that got left off this list.
Oh gosh, 3 total or 3 each?
Just, let's just pick a couple. I'll say 2 instead.
Oh my gosh,
I think it's a mistake that neither of us drafted Jason Third Kill Jr. because everyone else says his name like that as well. We said that without hearing anyone say it like that first. He's got a great name, and I think Darkon Cool King also should have been drafted. It was unfortunate we left him off the list.
Gotcha. I like Tristan Gillowett.
He was on my list as well.
Yeah, that's a fun one to say. Very, very nice guy. We've seen him on doing a lot of charity things online as well. So, but yeah, it's a fun one. Yeah. Plus, it was hard to pronounce too. It took us a few times to. I know for me, I did. Anyways,
yes,
you probably had it down, but I did not.
Nope. So took me a few as well.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. All right, that completes the name draft. Drop down in the description who had the better, or down in the comments who had the better name draft,
or who got snubbed. There's probably some snub. I'm sure there's a snub there for sure.
Who got snubbed? Yeah, I'm already. There's about 10 other guys.
There's a lot of
on
great
this
names
list that deserve to be drafted as well. But anyways, that's going to complete this episode of Accurate Basketball. We know it was a long one, so hopefully you got your breaks in when you needed them. Hope you enjoyed throughout this entire time. Let us know if you want to see something else rather than what we're getting into, because this is kind of our plan to go through for the rest of the season here. So definitely let us know if you'd like to see something else. But until next time, signing off from Mark and Curtis Acker. Take care.